keep running around, but I can talk about it. It just feels like it's true, and I keep running, but I don't wanna talk about it. I just keep running around, but I can talk about it. It just feels like it's true, and I keep running, but I don't wanna talk about it.
I'm a boss, I'm that chick that you don't wanna mess with. I've taken knocks, that's what it costs to be strong and independent. I got that money on my mind and I'm ready to go. Don't need a man to be defined, don't need you no more. I like the $100 bills, flaunt them round for show. I'm in the zone and I just see the sky. Haters got me singing like Haters got me singing like Haters got me singing like You a hater, you a hater, you a hater, hater, hater. Stay on my grind, I'm in my prime. I push myself right to my limit. Study my craft, so know the past. Don't hold me back, I've learned my lesson. I got that money on my mind and I'm ready to go. Don't need a man to be defined, don't need you no more. I like the $100 bills, flaunt them round for show. I'm in the zone and I just see the sky. Haters got me singing like 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 I got that money on my mind and I'm ready to go. Don't need a man to be defined, don't need you no more.
Hey baby, won't you come with me? I got money like it grows right off the trees. I said no, I won't go. Hey darling, won't you join our clan? We're gonna fix you up, take you to the promised land. I said no, I won't go. And I'm ready for it all, but my heart knows I can't take a fall. And I'm ready for it all, They're all waiting on me to drop the ball. Got my best dress on and my makeup done. Won't be long till I'm gonna be someone. Climbing up the steepest slope, I gotta hold my of society. I know I won't go, and I'm ready for it all, but my heart knows I can't take a fall, and I'm ready for it all, they're all waiting on me to drop the ball. Got my best dress on and my makeup done. Won't be long till I'm gonna be someone. Climbing up the steepest slope, I gotta hold my breath so I don't choke now. Got my guitar hanging off my shoulder. At each step I'm a little bit closer. Ruined since the day I was born, I know it's the perfect storm. It's the perfect storm. It's the perfect storm. Hold me, console me. I need shelter from all this pain. City lights give me peace of mind. Keep me hanging on till the day I die. Got my best dress on and my makeup done. Won't be long till I'm gonna be someone. Climbing up the steepest slope, I gotta hold my breath so I don't choke now. Got my guitar hanging off my shoulder. At each step I'm a little bit closer. Ruined since the day I was born, I know it's the perfect storm. It's the perfect storm. It's the perfect storm. Listen up, got no time. Gonna get it all, gonna get what's mine. Tell you what, no surprise. Try to push me down, but I'm gonna rise. There's no way now. There's no way now. Get away now. Nobody can tell us what to do. We do what we want, nothing to prove. Yeah, nobody can tell us what to do. 'Cause we do what we want. Don't give up, take your time. Gonna get it all, gonna get what's mine. Keep it shut, gotta realize. Try to push me down, but I'm gonna rise. There's no way now. There's no way now. Get away now. Nobody can tell us what to do. We do what we want, nothing to prove. Yeah, nobody can tell us what to do. 'Cause we do what we want. The joke's on you. The joke's on you. Nobody can tell us what to do. We do what we want. Yeah, nobody can tell us what to do. We do what we want, nothing to prove. Yeah, nobody can tell us what to do. 'Cause we do what we want. Yeah, we do what we want.
kissed at the beach all summer. I want it so bad, I had to go and get it. I need it, oh yeah, just wait until you feel it. Punching the waves like we're 16. You're reading Bukowski while you're feeling my heart. Is it love or just caffeine? Is it the end or is it just the start? It's all or the sum of our parts. But my darling, we're falling apart. Punching the waves like we're 16. You're reading Bukowski while you're breaking my heart. We're stalling. It's 1993. Just call me. Leave a message at the beep. I was all in. Carved our names into a tree. But we're falling in and out of reach. I want it so bad, I had to go and get it. I need it, oh yeah, just wait until you feel it. Punching the waves like we're 16. You're reading Bukowski while you're feeling my heart. Is it love or just caffeine? Is it the end or is it just the start? It's all or the sum of our parts. But my darling, we're falling apart. Punching the waves like we're 16. You're reading Bukowski while you're breaking my heart. Punching the waves like we're 16. You're reading Bukowski while you're feeling my heart. Is it love or just caffeine? Is it the end or is it just the start? It's all or the sum of our parts. But my darling, we're falling apart. Punching the waves like we're 16. You're reading Bukowski while you're breaking my heart.
My heart is on a plane to Tokyo, 1,000 miles away. From where I am, I go all the way by bicycle, just to see your face in Tokyo. For hours and hours I drive, counting the streets passing by, dreaming of trees in pale white, the light of the night in southern Hawaii. I feel like I'm lost in the flow, stuck in the routines I know. My last trip was ages ago, ages ago. My heart is on a plane to Tokyo, 1,000 miles away. From where I am, I go all the way by bicycle, just to see your face in Tokyo. I'm not unhappy, my dear, but nothing is holding me here. They say that I should save my career, but all I wanna do is leave for a year. I feel like I'm lost in the flow, stuck in my routines I know. Our last trip was ages ago, ages ago. My heart is on a plane to Tokyo, 1,000 miles away. From where I am, I go all the way by bicycle, just to see your face in Tokyo. Tokyo.
It's still a riddle, no matter where. There's love and music in the air. There's music in the air. Yeah, to the left, to the right. We're having fun, alright. Like Bonnie and Clyde, we're born to be wild. We're gonna rock this place tonight. Like Bonnie and Clyde, we're born to be wild. Standing on the edge of summer, we're gonna rock this place tonight. Dusty roads in the desert are gonna take us somewhere. Where we go, it doesn't matter, 'cause everywhere there's love and music in the air. There's music in the air. Yeah, to the left, to the right. We're having fun, alright. Like Bonnie and Clyde, we're born to be wild. We're gonna rock this place tonight. Like Bonnie and Clyde, we're born to be wild. Standing on the edge of summer, we're gonna rock this place tonight. Tonight. We're gonna rock this place tonight. We're gonna rock this place tonight. We're gonna rock this place tonight. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, like Bonnie and Clyde, we're born to be wild. We're gonna rock this place tonight. Like Bonnie and Clyde, we're born to be wild. Standing on the edge of summer, we're gonna rock this place tonight.
Just really showcasing, I think, the firepower of Ground Zero, the confidence that they can have as a team. Now, they've got to be careful. They don't create too many 1v1s, and they've done that. What's with all the 1v1s, guys? They're just going to rush in. Okay, game's over.
Courtesy of Milo. Not to be. Cairo on the drone as well. Going to spot that play up top. He stares, but Josh says, no nades here. It's nitro time. Heading into the final 30 seconds of play. 1 nano boost remaining. No frag grenades are juicing. Unfortunately, can't do a damn thing. Wildcard take this third.
Doesn't, but left with a lackluster amount of HP. Another swing, that's a kill. Quad, can it be an ace though? That's a big one. Swings, he does ace. Sejon climbs back up to equalize the scoreline.
You almost have to do something differently here, because if you try and just do, oh my god, they are really aggressive. But he didn't see, was it Frixel? Was it Frixel just standing next to him? He didn't see him. Preto got his third kill in the round there onto Fisho. Oh, to keep swinging. It's Rapix. He's done. It's Bliss. 2-0 on this map of Shalai.
Jeez, that hurt. That hurt. Shade to try and deny any ace Selmas from getting that kitchen hatch open, but here's the Fables of flank potential from Shade. He can't deny the plan. It's just not there.
Finds the pick onto Fisher Guy. So that's the smoke taken down and the execute.
Oh no, it's all on Repix. We saw what he could do yesterday.
Take control of Moto. 24 seconds left.
Just yet, he needs to. And there it is from in a 1 versus 4 with that diffuser now planted. And now Milo has made it a 3 versus 1. Shade!
There we go. Shade pops up from the darkness.
And he can not! Opening kill for Team Bliss in Repel. And it's so challenging now for Bliss to get back into this. It's only Fisho Guy left, and it's now coming for him. And they're going to look to do everything. 2 time left. Even if Cairo was not in it, into CEO, Pat and OJ on for the end.
Into the wildcard plays. Milo didn't need to contest that, but he does anyway.
God. Fortunately, though, for Bullets, they've taken down Cairo, not only one of the most...
Seconds now remain, but he is just left peeking all of these angles towards what Arcade. Okay, let's feed him with one.
Got the shield. God Legion.
No.
To clutch up. Instead throws the net. Their shots that they know they're capable of. Maloska should find this kill and does. That was in his ever important for Team Bliss. Kai rocked it back to a 2 versus 4 now for Team Bliss. 20 seconds left. Bishop. And there's God Legion once again on his sight of known for everyone to see. Cairo can't hit that shot, but he can on that one. Does lose a lot of shots.
Maybe that's the reason
What's
Bliss will
going
lose in
on?
this game. It's all the hit rate. It's been
4 versus 4. No Sealy this time. Great shot from Elements. Advantage Kraken once again. Oh, there's a player on Trophy Stairs though. Does he realize it? Shooting him outside that window. He swings anyway. Phoenix is on another level. And he almost hits that shot as Sealy. Phoenix now. He also gets aggressive. Easy ping. But yes! Series is done to him.
Of course, the transfer to come through. Just this is why he down as well. Things not at all going the way that Knights want it to, but Josh will win out against Seppi, looking for more spots. The player is 2. It is going to come down to the 1 versus 2. And he has made all the difference. Takes Elements to take these shots. Quiz just tucked in. Swing for 1, swing for 2. User control, 9 seconds in which to make it happen. Hits the head of Boydie. He's on the hunt. Needs one more. Stings! And coming up red stairs. Sage on the flank. Brings it back to the 2. We are still a minute 20 left off of the push. And Juicy's on for the flank. No! They just haven't done anything to deny. He's going to swing with the shotgun. Cleans up. There is a minute to play. Quiz. No one, but wins it anyway. Follows it up with the close.
Oh, perfectly timed C4 there. Fonzie, see you later. The Oryx came in just the nick of time to stick it all the way to dead. 0-0. OJ on for the drop, finds 1.
On the ground is what Hungry Lions will have to push through. Want to drop the hatch, but Milo is too good for that. Good for a second even.
Fighting with that Echo is going to be tough. Worm stepping on forward. Another multi-kill with the
Kit going down and your Thermite. That's your way in, but it doesn't matter if Worm is able to.
left for wild card. Good closeout. A double left-right from Jakenna. And Hungry Lions
We start to get their way onto this jacuzzi wall. Worm, he's going to
Wait
find
a
a timing
second.
and will hop straight in.
no.
No way. What was that wall bang?
hungry for more now. Worm always on.
A fantastic showing from both OCS Stage 1 and what has been up until the semi-finals of OCS Stage 2. We now head to the grand final. It's Championship Sunday, as we like to call it here, and I'm welcomed with Blue Panda and Cthulhu. Blue, how are you feeling after yesterday's matches? Felt, I would feel pretty even, but one big shock, one massive shock, and it was not the Knights beating the Chiefs.
Honestly, it's a bittersweet moment. I mean, Hungry Lions arguably had a pretty rough stage. They did not have the stage they're looking for, and now they're in the grand finals of OCS, so it's one of those, you know, too little, too late type situations. And it's even made worse by the fact that there's no stage 3. After a performance like this, an Augless team like the Hungry Lions would have people sniffing around, but there's nothing until 2023, unfortunately.
No, well, not at this stage. We'll have to wait and see whether anything does pop up in the meantime. But let's have a look at how the bracket has unfolded up until this point, Cthulhu, because as we said, you know, Knights making their way to the grand final. I don't think anyone would have scoffed at that, but definitely Hungry Lions' trek here was that of quite the venture.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Hungry Lions pulled an absolute, almost a miracle run, really, for themselves, especially their most recent win against Wildcard, the 1-2 scoreline that propelled them into the grand finals. Look, even they took it to the socials saying that going into this OCS, they had zero expectations, zero prep, really, and yeah, being able to beat Get Grip, then Team Bliss, then Wildcard, now onto against Knights, it has been a formidable run.
When you're looking at this, Blue, is there anything in particular that, you know, kind of stands out to you outside of the Hungry Lions storyline?
other than OCL and Garbo need to learn how to settle arms because it's just ridiculous. I mean, with a performance like the Chiefs had, if Circular Spheres had shown up, they could have made it to the top 4.
Yeah.
But no, apparently it was just too hard to get in and get ready yesterday.
Well, it is time for us to put all of our attention to today's matchup, the grand final, potentially the last competitive match we will have in Oceania for the year, and the Knights go up against the Hungry Lions, a team that, as we've already mentioned, haven't been great domestically, but for some reason in the OCS, they have not held back by any means. Knights, we'll probably talk about them first, because I think really this entire year has been a showcase of what the Knights form is almost at its peak. They have been phenomenal both in APAC South and of course in OCN, but it's here and now that we find them their most impressive, Blue. They have not lost a game in 10 maps. Are they going to drop one today?
Look, I think there is a possibility they drop a map, but I don't think there's any way that they lose out in this grand finals. If that's to happen, I reckon we go in the full 5. Hungry Lions they're just going to play their scrappy game. But I mean, Knights are rock solid at the moment. It's not, you've got X, Y, and Z showing up. The other two are just sitting in the back line. Every single member of this Knights roster can show up on game day, and they've proved it consistently, not just in this season of OCN, but coming into OCS as well.
And Cthulhu, I mean, we've kind of alluded to it, but is there any better than the Knights at this point for OCE? Is there anyone that can stand to them?
Not at the moment, really. Well, yeah, Knights are basically top 1 really of OCE at the moment, with the way how they've performed, with the way how they've shown up even in OCS. Look, it is quite tragic that they haven't yet managed to make it to any of the majors for now this year, but maybe well, not even maybe, it's a definite yes. The future does look very much bright for them. And against the Hungry Lions, look, for Lions, it is going to be very much of an uphill battle, despite, the absolute stellar performance that they had up until now.
Well, you don't have to look far back to see when their last matchup was. It was the final playday of OCN, and Knights 7-0'd this team. Blue, is there anything suggesting that Hungry Lions may well be able to take a map, hell, maybe the series?
Well, I mean, it's the difference. If you look at the Knights, it's kind of a lose-lose situation, in all honesty. They really proved nothing by beating the Hungry Lions, given they've done it before, but if they lose, what a statement that would be. With everything to gain here for the Hungry Lions. They've made it to this point already. They've already found success. Like they said, they haven't actually done much practice or scrimming. They've just come into it, played their game, and found themselves in the grand finals. If they were in their last match of the year to take down what is arguably the best team in ANZ, what a statement that would be to round things out.
And that's just it, for some of these players, we spoke to them earlier in the stage, Cthulhu, and some were alluding to the fact that, this roster was just here to have a bit of fun. They weren't putting too much pressure on themselves. But we've also seen on the socials that this could be some of their last matches, not just for the year, but potentially of their careers. I mean, surely that's got to add an element of, I guess, carelessness, in not in a bad way, but actually in a little bit of a dangerous way.
Absolutely, yeah. This would lean very, very well into the general kind of storyline of throughout multiple leagues that we had. Is just the team that has basically nothing to lose. They're here to have fun. This is kind of the last ride. They are one of the most difficult to counter, the most difficult to play against, and they're one of the most dangerous ones. So I'll be genuinely honest, this could be the dream run here for Hungry Lions if they do end up playing out of their mind. I mean, remembering the old Fnatic versus EG, that is by far the best sort of example of that sort of almost got nothing to lose kind of approach.
Well, Blue, it's almost the weekend for underdogs and, unbelievable storylines, so there is every chance that they do manage to pull a win here. Again, whether it's a map or whether it's a series, I don't know how many of us would be convinced in the series, but definitely coming into this one, Hungry Lions are looking as competitive as ever. Do you have any thoughts around what maps we might be going to? Any predictions?
I don't really think it matters, honestly. Like Hungry Lions have said, they played Clubhouse for the first time in how long yesterday, and they were still able to come out swinging. Map pool isn't what is going to determine this series. It is going to come down to individual skill and the ability to perform under pressure. which, let's be honest, Hungry Lions have proved that they can do, taking down our former grand finalists.
Well, let's have a look at how these map vetoes are going to affect this matchup. Of course, having a 9-map veto system does make things a lot more interesting for best of fives. Theme and Skyscraper, the newer maps, banned out instantly. Villa and Border make it through as the first picks. Maybe we'll keep our attention to the first 2 maps more so than the last 3, Cthulhu. Do you give any praise to Hungry Lions picking Villa here? I mean, Knights are definitely comfortable on that map.
Yeah, I think in terms of Hungry Lions, I think the idea was just go to kind of the closest sort of comfort zone map to go to play. I mean, Villa, not particularly the most frequent appearance, and obviously for them it would still be a very dangerous zone, as you alluded. Yeah, Knights definitely felt very comfortable yesterday. But I'd say, you know, bouncing between Villa or Border, I think Villa is kind of at least the lesser evil sort of deal here.
And then as we look to the back end of this veto system, you know, Chalet, Bank and Clubhouse, as you said, Clubhouse, first time we've seen it from Hungry Lions for some time. Are you giving them any leg up here, Blue Panda? Are you feeling like, you know, as we get deeper into the map pool, they might have a chance?
Oh, look, I'm genuinely a little concerned that these are the maps that we got. I think if Knights are smart, they would have opted into something like a Skyscraper and an Oregon. Skyscraper, obviously, it's a bit of a labyrinth. There's a lot of tucked in corners, and that's kind of what you want if you're the Knights. You don't want to be giving those long lines of sight. We've already seen what Worm can do at range with the Finker LMG. He's going to be an absolute weapon. These maps also allow for a lot of aggression, which is Hungry Lions' playstyle. Look, unfortunately, in a best of 5, you've got to take 5 of the 9. But Knights could have done a little bit more to give themselves an edge.
Well, Blue, maybe they don't want an edge. Maybe they want to make this as, I guess, convincing as it can possibly be. But it is time for us to get underway with the grand finals. So, to take you through the action of Map 1, it is a very, very strange duo, I know, one we have not seen before. It's Xenox and Guz.
Well, it's better than Bert and Ernie, though, Rob. At least you've changed it up a little bit. Excited for this game, though, Guz. Hungry Lions, no one would have predicted them in the grand final. The Knights, well, everyone would have predicted that one. It does have a little bit of David versus Goliath about it, but the Hungry Lions, they've taken down some top teams along the way.
Yeah, for sure. I guess it's really a tale of when does this fairy tale of sorts end, right? Obviously, the last time these two took each other on in the regular stage, Hungry Lions did not win a single round, but they completely blew our expectations out of the water yesterday. So if they come out of the gate strong here today, mount a map or 2, we could be in for quite the series.
So we head to Villa, first up, Knights on the defense. Hungry Lions will be attacking early. And just as a reminder for the trip, and it's a long trip that it has been for the Hungry Lions, it was an 8-7 victory against Get a Grip all the way at the start of OCS in round 1 yesterday. So to think that 1 round differential there, and they would have been knocked out straight away. They took down Team Bliss rather comfortably 7-3, and then in a best of 3 against Wildcard, they came out ahead 2-1 in the end. So well and truly have earned their position here in the grand final. For the Knights, it's been rather comfortable, especially that semi-final smashing of the Chiefs 7-1, 7-1. By far and away, Knights are the favourites for this matchup, but the Hungry Lions, they've got nothing to lose here, guys. You cannot count them out.
100%, and that's exactly, I guess, the mindset that we all have heading into this match, that it's an uphill battle, but Siege is a funny game. Nothing's impossible. Consistency at the moment, we have seen it in every league around the world in this meta, is so hard to come by. You have one bad day, and you can look subpar. So I'm really keen to probably see, I don't know, maybe the first half, the first map, just to see where these teams are sort of at, how their mental has been after yesterday. I'm pretty sure some of the Hungry Lions lads did end up going clubbing, so we'll see what kind of an impact that may have on their performance. Obviously, we are starting a little bit later than we did yesterday as well, so I think these players will be a little bit more switched on when it comes to the first round as we head into Villa. The Knights starting on the defense, of course. Over towards Stat and Trophy. In terms of the bans, as we quickly brushed over them, nothing much is really standing out. Jackal perhaps is a touch unusual, but on a map like Villa, if Hungry Lions, especially on the defense, want to elect to roam below in basement, that's probably not a bad ban. And of course, Finca expected. Valk always very powerful and Melusi to round things off, not really subverting expectations too much.
One of the biggest things for me, for the Knights, over the last 3 to 6 months, probably closer to the 3, and has been a mentality shift in the way that they approach the game. They approach competitive Siege. I think it'd be fair to say that maybe last year, 2021, they were not a team that would have taken even OCS, let alone even OCN as serious as APAC South. But in the last 3 to 6 months, they have been giving it their all, and you are seeing the fruits of that. And I think it just makes you a better team. You look at the Chiefs last year when they were taking both competitions super easy. I mean, that's an easy one there for Stigs, but the Knights, with the addition of Luna, a mentality shift, the best that this roster's ever been. And I think that for them, nothing short of sort of making a major at the back end of Stage 3 will be the minimum. Sage gets an easy kill onto Neptune, and 2 very early kills in this round. I mean, we got 2 minutes and 20. Knights just putting the pressure on straight away, peeking these windows, making sure the Hungry Lions just can't even get a foothold.
Yeah, if you're going to ban Jackal and you're entering basement, it needs to be better pre-play training there from Hungry Lions. The round's out.
God.
It's already over. And the Knights are just playing so aggressive. Look at that. A 3k from Stigs. Zane in the 1-on-5 hits a clean shot on Sage, but it'll be all a little too late. An aggressive start from the Knights, probably expected from both teams realistically heading into this match. Zane looking sharp, and he gets his second, but 3 more without diffuser. Easier said than done, of course.
There's always 2 ways you can kind of look at an opening round like this, right? That it's like, okay, just 1 round. It is what it is. Who cares? It's a long best-of-5 grand final at that, let alone the rest of the map to still play out. Or mentally, it can be a little bit demoralizing that the first go that you get at the grand final, you just get completely swept aside. Credit to Zane for finding 2 kills back the other way. But the fact that we had 2 minutes remaining and the round was effectively over, not a good start for the Hungry Lions. But that's all it is. It's just a start. Long ways to go. And credit to Zane for obviously really playing out this round as much as he possibly can in a 1 versus 5. He had got to 2 kills. Maybe he can get a little bit more.
The Knights just dialing it down after losing a couple of picks, understandably so. Likely knowing that the diffuser is not in the hands of Zane, who continues to try and progress forward, but gaining this ground obviously difficult and a lot of angles exposed. As he tries to progress himself up Astro's stairs, he'll have multiple angles holding this, the keeper barrier as well. He still gets Stigs.
Played it well.
And makes things a little bit more interesting now.
Oh, the timing on that reload, though, as Josh was peeking around the corner. I mean, I tell you what, really well played from Zane. Did not rush it and was abusing those sound cues quite a lot while wanting to push up Astro's stairs. You saw him a couple of times running into the wall and then stopping and expecting the peak from the floorboard above. But this was the start of the round. Stigs, the aggression from bathroom and then over to bedroom as well. And just having that whole area on lock. I mean, this is an easy kill as well on the J Canner from Closet. So really, really good positioning. And then repositioning from Stigs. The aggression on the defense on a map like Villa, so important. Good start for the Knights. Good little solo round from Zane as well. And now we head to APG.
Yeah, as he said before, always difficult to get a actual true read on the first round, on any map really, in any matchup. So a couple of things to tidy up here for Hungry Lions, and perhaps going forth they are going to be a little bit more cautious in the first 30 seconds or so, the opening phase of the round, as the Knights showing that, at least in round 1, not afraid to be very aggressive on the spawn. Now that's not very characteristic of the Knights generally, so perhaps that was just a pocket strat from them on the first round to assert a little bit of dominance here. It is Hungry Lions' map pick. Their first pick of the veto, 9 maps total. So if there is any opportunity for Hungry Lions to win a map in this best of 5, theoretically this is their strongest chance.
Yeah, when you look at Villa though for the Hungry Lions, it doesn't make up the best statistic. Only one, as I played twice for this stage, won 1, lost 1, but only an 18% attacker win rate on Villa. Now, they have a pretty decent 67% defensive win rate. So when you look at those numbers, as many rounds as they can get here on the attack is going to be their saving grace. They will need 2 at minimum. And I think 2 is probably the maximum that they will find getting. And then they have to back in their defense to send it to overtime. From there, anything can happen. Sticks over towards landing. Hungry Lions evidently a little bit more cautious with these window plays and understanding the Knights are aggressing on these windows and making it difficult to get inside of the building. Keeper barrier goes out. And so far, it's all the Knights dictating this game. On the defense as well, they are just making it so difficult for the Hungry Lions.
Yeah, they're setting the tempo really well and also the map control. That said, a big improvement from Hungry Lions, who've actually gathered it relatively timely and, more importantly, haven't lost a pick. Now they have control over towards landing, or they will soon. I think there was a player in red, so we'll need to be mindful of that. And Sage in 90 poses a third on the crossfire with Quiz, who is still on the stairs. Exposed though, spotted out. Worm holding down that angle with the LMG. Unfavorable for Quiz, you would imagine. Barbed wire to protect his push from down below, and someone really needs to execute a pinch here on Quiz. The longer this goes on for, the harder it's going to be for them to push forth. As you can see, Quiz pops up, gets that pick uncontested.
And a minute left in the round. Knights still firmly in the best position here in the second round. Stiggs can push up, go for the trade, surely. And no, doesn't get it. Neptune, after taking down Sage, got a quick kill onto Stiggs, and suddenly, in the space of 10 seconds, the Knights have lost 3 players in a rather unconvincing manner on a site that really, in the last minute or so, could be played on site. They've pushed off, and the Hungry Lions have punished them.
Yeah, Sage the catalyst for that, pushed forward. Don't know if he had to, but put unnecessary pressure on the rest of the team. Josh now still has a Kiba barrier to play off, but has been spotted out. The pinch over towards Study Balk will come soon. Josh knows that, reads that, and will try and find that kill, but Juice is under pressure. Josh needs to win the fight. He doesn't, and now in the 1-on-4.
I mean, but even at the end there, like even with Josh, inside a Study. This is going to be a replayed site, though, for the Knights. It's a disaster of a round. Way too aggressive.
Oh, no.
Great little gas babe from Juicy, and suddenly with only 5 seconds left, this is actually somewhat winnable from the Don. They have to get on it. Jay Kennett, oh, beautiful shot from Zane. To be fair, they still had the numbers to make sure that Juicy was not going to be able to swing out from Vault to deny the plant once again. But questions asked there of that round, guys. Way too aggressive for an ABG site. Largely, the best site on this map for defending on-site, holding positions like top brown stairs. And yet, we're seeing the Knights pushing past 90 late in the round with under a minute to go.
Yeah, I'd be really keen to understand why Sage pushed forward there, because you could see that's why the rest of the team then felt the need to make a play off that pick. They wanted to try and find that trade back over towards that that heads position, the window jump in, and obviously not very favorable walking forward and trying to take that fight. So yeah, it's always incredible in Siege, right? One small misplay, if the other team's playing right, can really just unravel the round. And it was looking so good. The crossfire that the Knights had there with still a minute to go was so strong, and Hungry Lions, to their credit, did a really good job in picking it apart. Obviously, Juicy, fantastic attempt there at the very end. Incredible game sense to deny the plant. Mizami was very, very low. But then on the flip side, Zane looked really sharp and was able to cover that plant. So certainly an interesting couple of first rounds here as we enter a hopefully short tech pause. Just get that sorted out. And probably a good opportunity for both teams to just have a bit of a deep breath, because both have had pretty hectic first rounds to try and get those wins across the line.
Well, as I was saying before, what was it, 18% is the attacker win rate for the Hungry Lions on Villa this stage, and they go and get one there, freebie by the Knights, and that just gives them a look in for this map. They only probably need one more attacking round in this first half, and it could really set them up for a tilt at taking Villa. At tech pause at the moment. Hopefully get everyone back into the lobby shortly and sort of get back underway. I don't really think this is going to change a whole lot, to be honest. Only, what, 2 rounds in? But some good signs there, at least, for the Hungry Lions to capitalize there, because the Knights played way too aggressive. Hungry Lions punished them. And sometimes when you get one-sided matchups and the team that's obviously playing aggressive and playing as the better team and understanding that they've got the experience. If the other team can't quite punish them, then it really does not bode well. So good signs there for the Hungry Lions. They take their advantage when they get it. We do head back to AVG. I would imagine Knights will reel it in a little bit here with a second go at this. There was just no need. I mean, I can somewhat understand the aggression early on over towards Stat Trophy, making it difficult for Hungry Lions to get in. But once you get under a minute, the rest of the game, the rest of the round, you can play on site. So we'll see what happens for the Knights in the way that they do change things up for their second go at Aviator Games.
Yeah, I'm assuming it would be a pretty similar approach from both teams in the first minute or two of the round. And again, the win condition for either team once more is going to be that cross 90 red stairs. Whoever wins that duel out is going to be the one that likely has the advantage for the execute. There is obviously the alternative where Hungry Lions stack study and try to go for a play on that side of the map, perhaps up Tom's. And considering the Knights haven't set up there too aggressively, I mean, that could always be a potential play, but doesn't seem to be very favorable at the moment. And Hungry Lions are likely wanting to try and exploit this roam and perhaps this time find a pick before the likes of Quiz, Sage, Josh down below can cross back towards site. However, that's going to be tricky. The Knights well drilled on this roam. They're going to play it smart. They're going to play it calculated. They have the util available to waste time. And Quiz is one of the big players in this position. Those magnets in hand can help to protect those keeper barriers, protect the Bricks nade, protect Astro. The longer he stays alive, the more impact he'll have.
Yeah, and at this point in the round, I don't mind this at all from the Knights, and I think they've done a really good job here so far on Villa at playing this kind of forward aggression on the defense and forcing the Hungry Lions to make different moves in the way that they want to proceed over towards the veranda, looking in towards study. That's where the large majority of this Hungry Lions outfit currently located. Juicy holding top brown, not a position that will be given up quite easily. Oh, a bit of an opportunity there for Stiggs, and those were the kind of kills he was nailing in that opening round. Does get Jay Kenner, though, while falling back. And this is a very difficult side of the map to push in for if you're the Hungry Lions, unless Masami just comes in and gets an easy kill onto Stiggs. Now they head down below, but again, Brown Stairs heavily defended by Juicy, one of the better players in the region at holding these choke points.
Don't mind this rotation, though, from Hungry Lions, identifying that the Stat Trophy side of the map is basically lost. Zane's going to get caught out here. Josh on Astro hits the shot. That could be the round over. The pinch now has been nullified. Sage in the right corner of Study. Juicy once again holding a strong cross. And this is just, I mean, a testament to the teamwork that the Knights have on offer. Sage is going to swing, dies, but Juicy was repositioning. Still eventually gets the trade. Now pressure down below. It's a 2v2. And both teams playing this round very well at the moment.
Diffuser over towards Study. Quiz sitting inside of games, 34 seconds left, 2 versus 2. Josh still has a Nitro Cell, throws it out rather too early though.
Oh.
The lack of information. Quiz honestly could get both of them here, and does. Both just kind of caught with their pants down a little bit. That was the Gemini out, so perfect timing. And the Knights do get that AVG site, but it was a little bit messy. It wasn't the cleanest round from them. When we go back to that opening round where they were just on fire from the get-go, since then, it has largely looked like a pretty contested game. Knights do take it out, but now head down to Kitchen Dining.
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 rounds have both been incredibly close until it's reached that tipping point where one team just oversteps a touch too much with aggression. Last time it was Sage, the reposition was the catalyst for the Knights falling apart. And then at the very end there, the Yana clone was the perfect cue for Sage to swing. Now, perhaps it wasn't really the play there in the 2v2. You're better off trying to trade sight. But in the moment, if you don't have any information, it can feel very uncomfortable going for that last second push. And, you know, time was limited and the Knights could have really been anywhere on the objective itself. So, again, another close round. But a testament, I think, to Hungry Lions' ability to rotate off what would have been a pretty bad roam clear relatively early on. And a good sign going forward that I think both teams at the moment are trying to adapt to each other as much as possible. We've only just completed the 3rd round in a match which could go on for several hours, and that's only going to continually develop as we work our way through the series.
think the Hungry Lions have actually done really well at adapting to this aggression of the Knights, slowing the early pacing right down. That opening round, they were almost playing into the window peaks. Fully understanding that the Knights are playing ultra aggressive here on the defense. And yeah, look at the pressure from... Somehow Quiz hits that shot anyway onto Worm. Sage top Brown, fight, wins it out against Jay Kenner. Well, just as I was saying, maybe the Hungry Lions were not looking to sort of play into the aggression of the Knights. They do so once again in this 4th round, and they kind of get punished for it. Didn't mind the pressure that was put onto Quiz, but Quiz hits the tough shot anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's recency bias from me, but I just don't really recall the Knights playing this kind of style all too regularly, where the entire sort of defensive strategy at the moment is to bully the attack into submission in the first minute of the round, finding these early picks, contesting every entry on the map, even on Villa. There's plenty of other maps with less H2 points where you do contest map entry. Villa, typically not one of them, just due to, you know, the basement flank and so many entry points throughout the map itself, but the Knights are still making it work, and Hungry Lions at the moment now having to crawl back this round. Not impossible, especially with Zane still up. He's looked incredibly sharp, but he needs the rest of the team in Neptune and Mazami to try and feed him information to get these picks. As Neptune, unfortunately, I was going to say misses that wallbang, but a keeper barrier to protect Stigs.
Josh finding the kill onto Mazami. Oh, Quiz through the window again. Tight angle. Lands the headshot onto Zane, and Neptune running around outside, getting chased out by Stigs. So from a 5v1 to a 4v1, somewhat similar to the opening round of this map. It was Zane that time, though. This time now Neptune. But way less time. Only 40 seconds left. Doesn't even have Diffuser. But ultimately, it looks as if the Knights will go up 3-1. Still a couple of chances, though, for the Hungry Lions to find that second attacking round win in this half. Sage did take a little bit of damage from that nade of Neptune. They know where he's coming from. They have the information. And Sage has the angle. But it's Neptune that is his own undoing in the end. Somehow.
Well, they did give the Knights the kill, so
yeah,
they're giving them the stat and the satisfaction. But it was won in the first minute. Again, the Knights bullying their opponents in the early phase, preventing the entry, preventing the trade, and it's really just the crossfires that the Knights continue to hold, whether it be early, mid, or late round. They're just so in sync to one another, and perhaps those are predetermined positions, perhaps they're on the fly. Either way, the communication clearly very strong and just working off one another at the moment, whereas on the other side of the spectrum, Hungry Lions a little bit more disconnected and not able to find these positions or perhaps find openings elsewhere on the map to alleviate a little bit of that pressure. It then snowballs and makes these rounds really tough. Of course, though, as you stated earlier, based on historical data, 2 rounds here for Hungry Lions is okay. So they still have a couple more rounds to get a win here on the board and then fall back to their defense.
Typically on Villa, it's AVG, the site that I look at as one of the harder sites to attack. But I feel like in this instance, in this matchup, it might be Stat Trophy. Knights have actually defended the Stat Trophy area of the map better than any other area and have made it very difficult for the Hungry Lions. So I do wonder if Hungry Lions, do they even look to play into that sort of Astro bedroom kind of push, or go for a slower take? Push in from Brown Stairs, get above, get AVG control. And with the way that they're actually pushing in, already all 4 of them coming in over towards Study side, that might be the answer. But either way, Stigs gets a kill onto his army. So much pressure over on Study side now from the Knights. I mean, just reading into this perfectly. Think back to round 1 on the same site. Knights were all set up for closet and bedroom and got their kills there. Now, same site, Stat Trophy, and they've all just shifted over to Study. Big kill from Jay Kenner, though, onto Stigs. And Quiz still holding a very aggressive position. Josh as well, top Brown. But Hungry Lions have been a little bit more cautious, but I still feel like they're just going to walk right into Quiz. They get rid of the keeper barrier, but he gets rid of their heads. 4 versus 2. Now Josh swings from a closer angle. Round is done. 4-1 to the Knights.
Zane tickled low and eventually finished off. The Knights on the defense, resisting the entry. The Azami so impactful in so many of these rounds, facilitating that aggression. Hungry Lions not clearing utility and punished for it. Well played by Quiz, who just continues to improve over the course of the year. Currently going 7-1, mind you, in this particular match. Hungry Lions now the next round. Perhaps a must-win if they are to stay any chance in this map. Of course, it's their pick, so it could have further implications in this series as well.
Yeah, I don't see a way in which the Hungry Lions win this map if they go down 5-1. Look at some of the stats for the Knights on Villa. Guz, 57% attacker win rate, which is quite staggering when you consider the 18% of the Hungry Lions. It suggests to me they'll do enough to get 2 attacking round wins at minimum.
Yep.
What's even more concerning is when you kind of look at this map in a nutshell, Knights have a 75% defensive win rate on Villa, 3-1 record, plus 11 round differential. It's always tough though. Going up against a team like the Knights who have such a strong map pool and honestly can win on every single map. Except Oregon, apparently. where they're 0-2. That's if there's like, if you've got one map, right? If you've got one map that you don't quite play that well, in a best of 5 grand final, that map's gone straight away. And then where do you take them? So you have to almost just go into what you are playing better at.
It's funny you mentioned Oregon for the Knights, because it wasn't them that banned it out. It was Hungry Lions on their second ban, which excluded it from play. So perhaps not comfortable for Hungry Lions either, which plays into the hands of the Knights.
Well, they haven't played it, yeah. I do like the border pick though for Knights, right? When we first, and I think we got to cast that game, when we saw border.
We've said this a couple times
yeah.
now.
they were atrocious.
They were, yeah.
But since then, and through playing it and through scrimming it and through practicing it, boy, they've actually done a good job on that map now, and I think gives them another opportunity to play it in a high stakes scenario. Stiggs, once again, finding an opening kill. He has done that quite a few times in this opening half.
Yep.
Quite a few times it's pinned to the player outside. There goes the Thatcher of Jake Kenner. Now Stiggs is down. Juicy on the clash, looking to maybe try and salvage this.
Able to cover for the res. And with Stiggs still up, he can continue to disperse keeper barriers around the map. And we've seen these have so much of an impact. Study, a fantastic example of a room inside of Villa where you can just create so much more additional cover in a position which otherwise would be very exposed. Josh on the lurk down below, Neptune as well, and they could come to head very soon. Neptune, has he heard that? Has he heard the footsteps on the other side of the wall? I would assume so, but with that barrier, that barricade rather, just stalling his progress a little bit, it makes things more challenging.
Minute and 10 seconds remaining in the round. Knights still with that player advantage, and of course they got Stiggs back up, so those keeper barriers can be impactful once again, or just even Stiggs himself, 7-5. Really starting to find comfort in this team, understanding his role. And it's again Stiggs. He's on for the ace here, actually. He's got 3 in the round, all 3. 2 more would get him the ace. It won't happen though with Josh finding Mizami with the Nitrocell. And once again, for the 3rd time in this half, a 5-1 scenario. And when you think about the only round that the Hungry Lions won, Guz, was, well, honestly, a bit of a throw from the Knights. Oh, this is honestly...
This is a bit BM.
This is bullying.
Zane spotting multiple members outside. Juicy is all the way out. 3 outside, 4 outside, and Sage with the jump out. It's a flawless round for the Knights and a near flawless half as well. Looking way too good on this defensive half of Villa, and perhaps any chance of Hungry Lions being able to salvage the map in the second half now goes begging. They will need to mount a huge comeback here.
Yeah, a little bit concerning. A little bit concerning for the Hungry Lions, because to me, it seems like they're getting toyed with, Guz. It does not look competitive right now. But what I will say, and it's not necessarily playing full devil's advocate, is that I think that's more to do with the Knights than anything to do with the Hungry Lions. Knights are just on another level right now locally in the Oceanic region. I don't think there's a team that can match them. Just plain and simple. I don't think there's a team in this region that is as good as the Knights right now, and not even remotely close. Like, it's not close. That's concerning for me, for the region, but these guys are just on another level.
Well, they haven't lost a map locally since Playday 1. They got spanked by Bliss, and I think more holistically in Apex South as well, they did struggle a little bit at the very start, but they have improved over the course of this stage quite dramatically, in fact. And definitely locally, they are very hard to look past. They're showing it here right now. And we'll see whether or not that flows into their attacking efforts. An aggressive lineup from themselves. Hungry Lions not electing to bring the Azami, but instead the Thunderbirds are perhaps just provide a little bit more sustain to the team. Knights will go for a map clear from the north side across, so Worm will be on the front lines, yet to find a pick in this map, but he'll be wanting to step it up as Neptune drops Josh, and that's the line taken care of.
Good start, though. I know the Knights are going to come at this rather aggressively. They'll probably look to play somewhat fast pace. Although Stig's a little bit slow at the moment on that Nook. I can just imagine him bolting in and running around. Why not?
Oh no.
Catches one. That's Worm down. Clears out of Astro. Juicy's the one that's almost taken a few shots at Stig's there. Oh, that would have been so filthy. Neptune actually did take a little bit of damage, but Stig's is just on. He's on a heater at the moment. Some of the Knights.
Yeah. Stiggs is on another level at the moment. On the entry, in the early round, he has just been insane. Making plays and making them work, and if you had to hit that wallbang, my word. What a way to enter the double digits, but for now he'll reposition the Knights with good control, and unlike the Knights, Hungry Lions don't have the cross. No one 90, no one red. Soon that will expose Vault. Not long after, the plant behind the Vault door is probably going to be on the cards, and if one person from the Knights here wraps over towards Study, Hungry Lions are going to be in an awful pinch.
Quiz still just loitering around 90. Stiggs making the rotate. Still time. Towards the Study veranda. Jay Kennett, though, does get rid of Juicy. Sage pushes through landing, now trying to put pressure onto players inside of Vault, and almost did so. It's Mazami that finds the kill onto Sage. And the Hungry Lions looking to take their second round here on Villa. Barring a Quiz Stiggs double tandem win at the end of this 7th round, it could still be on. 3 versus 2. An 8-1 Quiz has lost his partner in Stiggs. Neptune, big kill. Now needs to get the last 3 players. What is going? What is this glitch? It's so annoying. Hurry up and die, Quiz, so I can stop listening to this bloody thing. There we go, he's dead.
I haven't seen that one before.
I've not seen that one before either.
Yeah, well done by Hungry Lions. Again, I stand by what I said earlier. I don't think it was the best of positions, especially if Stiggs on the wraparound over towards Study did actually find a pick. It would have complicated Hungry Lions' position even further, but they did a good job to stand their ground and actually deny the entry in towards the side. Mazami in particular as well, up close on Vault Door, did good work. He dies and allows the entry. It would have unraveled again. So some really good, strong individual performances there from Hungry Lions. And a good start to kick things off. Once more, though, much like the first half, it's the entry that's the most concerning thing for Hungry Lions. If Stiggs and perhaps even 1 or 2 other members of the team are continually allowed that freedom in the first minute of the round, eventually the Knights are going to start cracking open these attacks.
Yeah, they obviously won out on what, AVG, so that's the site you typically would say defenders should always be winning on this map. But Kitchen Dining, interesting decision here over Stat Trophy. Don't mind it considering the way the Knights basically had Stat Trophy on lockdown in that first half. Do wonder if the Knights actually might go for a vertical take here. They do have the Nook, the Sledge, so clearing above, very, very easy, and then obviously the soft breach. So I'm sensing probably that vert take, and then maybe a bit of pressure from Pantry. But it is Josh that's on the Nook, not Stiggs. Stiggs on the soft breach. I'd love to see Neptune and Josh find each other, the Vigil and the Nook. Always a fun little mini game.
The Knights not committing to above just yet. Gathering that information required for the push and perhaps looking to find an entry. Zane, though, has repositioned further back towards site. And that frees up the southern side of the map for the Knights, and they'll get that information shortly as Quiz leads the charge and Josh to drone him ahead.
He's done more than just that. He's droned out the entire top floor so far, and he's got no information of players. So yeah, it's a freebie there for Quiz, and then he should get backup from Josh as well, who can essentially just run down that corridor towards 90 if he wants. And yeah, Quiz just pushes straight into stat. Good drone work from Josh. Oh, Quiz though, I don't even know if he knows where he got shot from just then.
Yeah, over towards Astro, but looked a little bit confused. Nonetheless, control now forfeited by Hungry Lions, but they have wasted more than half the round. So the round itself still at a tipping point. I think whoever gets the opening pick here is going to be heavily favoured for the execute. Josh still lurks. His army and sheets will need to cover that position. Zane's still over towards Bike, so he's in a good spot. Neptune down below on the Vigil. No Jackal available as the Hungry Lions banned out, so good to see that they're playing into that. Sage is looking to take a 1, but that's surely unfavourable unless he has a really good read on this position. Oh, he does. He pre-fires and gets the kill.
And it clears out Wine as well. So, last second flank available for the Hungry Lions. Another trade elsewhere. Knight still with the advantage. 30 seconds left. Juicy finds a big kill onto Worm, and then Zane falls to Quiz. Only Jake Kenner left inside a laundry, and it's soon to be map point for the Knights. All too easy in the end.
Well done by Sage. Really good work there. Sharp couple of kills that we captured. The one down below in basement in particular was really well done. Having a great read on the Vigil. Obviously we didn't see the drone POV, so perhaps the Vigil ability did in fact expire. And he had a great read as to where that player was, but as the dust settles, 6-2 the scoreline. And the Knights establishing quite the dominant first map here in this series.
Yeah, look, obviously I think the ABG site defense there of Hungry Lions in the last round to start the second half was pretty good. Kitchen Dining was the site there that just really showed the Knights' way of systematically taking down a defense, clearing out positions, getting control of vert, clearing the player down in Wine. And very much it's like, okay, well, we know that we almost want to force them to be on site, so clear above, clear below. Whatever's left it on site, we just sort of swarm with numbers, and yeah, Hungry Lions just couldn't quite find any shots. It's been a rough one for Worm, 0 and 8. Last line of defense on the smoke, but not able to find any kills thus far. Knights be the better team. And it's going to be hard to sort of see Hungry Lions turning it around on border as well. They haven't played it this stage. And I think it's also probably the kind of map that it really will benefit teams that do play it. Understanding that it's all about aggression, finding kills, and that just honestly screams playing into the Knights' playstyle.
I don't think today we're seeing the same Hungry Lions we saw yesterday, which was that aggressive ability to deny entries and the adaptability to play off that. And I think a lot of that is credit to the Knights. Juicy himself said it yesterday, if a team's going to play aggressive, they're going to look to match it. That's exactly what they've done. And you can just see how afraid Hungry Lions are to peek some of these angles. Just no confidence at all. And Quiz, provided he doesn't get timed, is going to get a kill here. Neptune is disorientated at the moment, falls back over towards Vault. being droned out as well, so pressure really ensuing here. And if this was the Knights, they'd have a double crossfire. They would be pressuring this entry, but just not the case for Hungry Lions. And Quiz is going to swing here. Red ping. This is a kill.
And it
Eventually
is,
a trade. Actually,
yeah.
well played. Honestly,
Yeah.
well played in the end. Jake Kenner, a really good swing there. And Neptune as well, actually getting a pick. So I think the setup there was very favorable for the Knights, but obviously Hungry Lions still salvaging something.
Well, I think, yeah, Stiggs almost got over Zealous there and actually pushed Neptune before Quiz was able to. So he goes down to Neptune. Quiz was then in the position, obviously, to trade, but it shouldn't have been the trade. Should have just got the kill himself. Should have been a 1-for-1. Now Worm, there is that one kill. Sage doesn't make it 2. He gets that kill back. 3 versus 2, still advantage for the Hungry Lions. What
Mazami
can they
low.
find?
LMG up as well. It's still a little bit worrying here, I think, for Hungry Lions. Oh, good shot though. Mazami on the off angle. Josh now 1v3.
Yeah, and that should be the round from there for the Hungry Lions. Josh having a pretty solid match so far without too much affair. 6-3, but would need to now find all 3 kills to finish off the map here and now. There's 1, 2 more to go. Still 50 seconds.
Ooh.
Has the yellow ping, has the information. Oh, problem is, needed to not only land and kill Jake Kenner there, and then also have to swing back and kill the player that would have peeked from Astro. But he did well to position behind the bomb chassis so that he didn't essentially get double teamed in that scenario. Did as well as he could, but the Hungry Lions do get their 3rd round. And for the health of this grand final, that's really what the Hungry Lions need to show us, that even if the map looks likely over, keep fighting. See if you can obviously reduce that deficit. 6-3, can you make it 6-4? And then look to put a bit of pressure onto the Knights. Over to ABG, a very good sight for the Hungry Lions here.
Yeah, they showed really good fight in that last round. I still stand by the Knights having a good read and a good entry. Perhaps the timing wasn't amazing, but yeah, Neptune did well, and then we saw that aggressive swing, I believe, from Jake Kenner over towards the landing. It snowballed from there. Worm finally got a kill, so I'm sure he's going to be feeling relieved and more confident going forward in this matchup. And then the solid cross there at the very end of the round as well. Just good composure from Hungry Lions. And I think at this point of the map, despite it being a best of 5, a team with very little experience in these kind of situations could drop their heads and lose that composure quite quickly. So the fact that they have been able to recover that round and just keep the map alive, even for one more round, is a testament to them, because the Knights have been in these situations or similar plenty of times against objectively stronger opponents as well. So they know how to play these out. Neptune, the garage spawn peak on the boost, but he doesn't land the shot.
Still a bit of work to do here for the Knights. By far, this round is, or this map is not over just yet. Especially on a site like ABG. Very, very good site for defenders. Early entry for Quiz inside our master bathroom, though. Gemini takes out the Sawyer Gate, and Neptune playing this Astro Stairs position. Could push up, doesn't though. Likes to hold below, and it Stiggs once again, as he has done many times over in this map. Finds the opening kill. Worm down and now out for the count. And while it's a very good site to defend, there's not a whole lot of defending on site here from the Hungry Lions. Trying to replicate a bit of that Knights defense by putting pressure on Stat Trophy, but Knights are just making it look all too easy until Jake Kenner did get that kill onto Stiggs. It felt like the round was falling away from them. But now, 3 versus 4, get back on site, defend from here, and it could be winnable.
Josh again playing flank watch down below. Neptune elects to once more go for a rotation. Might be in trouble. Nades as well on the vert. Josh still has one remaining. If he lands this, especially on Jake Kenner, you would imagine a kill will be confirmed. No one really playing this. Ooh, I was going to say no one playing the position. Josh doesn't commit to the nade, and the one that he doesn't quite land on Jake Kenner, but through the vert. Well played by Josh. And now Mazami and Neptune to try and keep the map alive.
It is doable. If you're going to have any site that you can bring back 2 versus 4, it's ABG. Mizami still has 3 gas babes as well. Does get droned out. Don't even know if he realizes he just got droned as well. Playing that vault position, of course, though, you do expect Smoke Player to be there. Neptune, is he going to be the win condition, though, in this round for the Hungry Lions? Still around that sort of top brown area into study. Player on the rappel at the veranda position, so it's only Mizami really on site at the moment. Dash across from Neptune, good shot onto Josh. And suddenly with study control still for Hungry Lions, only 13 seconds left. Mizami on site, he does get quiz. Sage though, gets rid of Mizami, so on site it's open, 7 seconds, Juicy. Now has to stick the plant, but Neptune not in a position to deny. So should be able to get this plant off. The dash gets him closer, but not close enough. And Juicy can play off of this inside of Avia, but does he know where Neptune is?
30 seconds. Juicy patient. Neptune surely makes sound here. Gets Juicy's attention. He'll turn around, reposition in study, but Juicy too sharp, too clean. It's the story for the Knights here. Map 1. They get it done, and they get it done well.
Too clean from the Don, too clean from the Knights. They did have to work for it in the end, especially considering the way that first half went. It had a bit of a walkover written all over it, but the Hungry Lions did respond a little bit in that second half, but just not able to match the Knights. 7-3 for the first map of this grand final here for the OCS. Knights 2 maps away from being the champions, but Hungry Lions, have they got a little bit more in them? Can you see them really finding a map against this Knights juggernaut? It's hard to say. The Knights were largely in control from start to finish there.
Yeah, I mean, their ability to set the tempo on a map that wasn't their pick was probably what we expected heading into this series, right? But actually seeing it in full effect inside of the server was a sight to behold. Pretty overwhelming and concerning for us, and we're just sitting here watching, right? I can't imagine Hungry Lions being inside the server just trying to stand up against this dominance. So not the best of starts for them in this series, but perhaps they can try and catch the Knights off guard on another map.
1-0 to the Knights so far in this grand final. More to come. For now, we go to a break. On the other side, it will be Border.
Punching the waves like we're 16. You're reading Bukowski while you're breaking my heart. We're stalling. It's 1993. Just call me. Leave a message at the beep. I was all in, carved our names into a tree, but we're falling in and out of reach. I want it so bad, I had to go and get it. I need it, oh yeah, just wait until you feel it. Punching the waves like we're 16. You're reading Bukowski while you're feeling my heart. Is it love or just caffeine? Is it the end or is it
Up until the second half, it almost looked like Knights were going to pretty much run away with it. You've got to give props to Hungry Lions fighting back. Although they weren't able to do a hell of a lot, they still started to make the Knights sweat a little bit here. Blue, what are your thoughts on the performance overall? I mean, we expected this from the Knights, but are you disappointed at all for Hungry Lions?
Honestly, I'm a little disappointed, not necessarily in terms of the result, but I'm disappointed that we didn't get to see Hungry Lions start off on the defense. I think this would have been a vastly different result if they had had defense first, because you could see their attack was uncomfortable. The Knights, they've done whatever prep work they need to identify. They needed to get up in the faces of Hungry Lions. Hungry Lions thrive on the attack when they can get into the building and start that push in a coordinated manner. But if they don't have time to think and get themselves set up, Knights just thrived.
Cthulhu, what did you feel like was the pitfall here for Hungry Lions, if any?
Look, I think it's just mainly just the kind of experience difference as well. I mean, the veteran status of Knights definitely does shine through here. Plus, for Knights, Villa does feel like a little bit more of a kind of more recent, fresher memory rather than it is for Hungry Lions. Plus. Yeah, with Luna Metal kind of probably just talking to them, kind of saying take them at just the face value, kind of it would be another kind of very good point to make, because whilst for Knights they already played against a variety of different playstyles, for Hungry Lions it's still kind of all part of, I suppose, the adjustment journey, or well, up until now, given that this may just end up being kind of their last round, but. I think it's just it's purely for the fact that they kind of tried to play their own game, their own playstyle, without really accounting for what Knights could really bring to the table.
Well, I can tell you one thing. If they do not pick up their act here, Hungry Lions will be going into a third map with absolutely no hope. We go to Border. This is a massive game for the Hungry Lions. We throw back to Xenox and Guz.
Only a small break, Guz, for the Hungry Lions to try and find some kind of rejuvenation off the back of that Villa defeat. It wasn't all doom and gloom. 7-3, not the worst scoreline, much better than what the Chiefs showed in that semi-final. But for the Hungry Lions, if they're going to have any chance of winning this grand final, they will have to find another gear. Hard to imagine where that's going to come from for a team that obviously largely struggled for the most part for OCN Stage 2. It's been a fairy tale run so far in the OCS though, but fairy tales don't always have a happy ending.
We head to Border then, a map which I think has probably been reflective of the Knights' improvement across the stage and across the year. A map that was once a little bit precarious for them to go to, whether it be here or APAC South. Now a map where they look quite formidable, and Hungry Lions will find this map very tricky, especially on the attacking entry. That's where they start here for the second map in this series. They had loads of trouble getting into the map on Villa, and Border naturally against any defense is going to be exponentially more difficult. So we'll see whether or not they can tidy that up. As you mentioned, a very short break between these maps, and they'll be hoping that they can find some significant improvement over the course of the last couple of minutes, which a very tall order that will be. Finker Thatcher off the board first.
I like the Finker ban here, even from the Knights on this map. It's a Shift W kind of map. It's a shooting firepower kind of map, and obviously the Knights will back themselves in that they won't need the Finker. Hungry Lions probably would have liked it, but not to be available. Azami taken off the board, same with Thatcher. And it's going to be Malusi. That's an intriguing ban here, but we'll see. Obviously the Knights have started to become quite acquainted with Border in recent times. They'll know what they're doing. Hungry Lions on the attack first. There's not a whole lot of statistics surrounding this map, Guz. It did not get played at all in the... oh, actually, no, I'm looking at the wrong one. Well, it's actually the first time we're seeing it, though, for OCS. So in terms of recency, we haven't actually seen it for this particular tournament. But in terms of OCN, it only got played once. So again, it's still, when you think of... even Skyscraper, Theme Park, the three maps that have recently come in, I feel like Border gets played the least. It's really only Knights in this region that have, well, I guess, grown a little fond of it.
Yeah, certainly in recent times. Really keen to see, though, is the defense here on the entry in particular going to be as strong with Azami taken down? I think that's a fantastic ban from Hungry Lions. It's an operator that they, to be frank, didn't use very well at all on their defensive efforts. In fact, I don't really remember it being used at all. And if it was, it didn't have much of an impact. Whereas for the Knights, and Stigs especially absolutely abused Azami and those keeper barriers to the fullest extent to create a lot of additional cover and safety in positions which they otherwise wouldn't be. Now, Border is a map where you have very little safety anyway. So Azami is going to be very powerful, and the fact they've taken it off the board, sure, it's a very defensive targeted ban, but I think it's very appropriate for this series and might put a bit more heat on the Knights. Stigs, though, fulfills the Oryx role, the spawn peak, passport double up above to Vents, doesn't land the shot. Neptune clued in, gets the pick.
Yeah, very clued in. That was quick and sharp from Neptune. I mean, Stigs didn't even have a chance to actually sort of even move his crosshair over in time. That was just straight up almost pre-fire. Obviously, the Hungry Lions very much clued in that the Knights are going to play very similar to what they did on Villa, even more so on a map like Border, which can feature a lot of spawn peaks and a lot of aggression from the defensive team. I will say, though, for Hungry Lions, it's a house money situation here in this grand final, and on this map, there's basically no expectations at all. And that does relieve pressure. Oh, that's a wonderful shot from Worm. Two very, very good shots early from the Hungry Lions on Border. Could really set the tone early for them. And that's the thing. If Hungry Lions go and get like 3 of the first rounds, all the pressure then is on the Knights.
Neptune will get a second. Yeah, there you go. Thought maybe Quiz was going to turn around for a split moment, but not the case. Now Josh in the 1v5. And that's just a great start to the map. The shots that we saw were not the result of util dump at all. It was just sharp 1v1s taken, information, I assume, gathered, and then converted. Josh gets a bit of information himself, but then Neptune for his 3rd in the round. And what a way to kickstart Border.
Yeah, really, really, really solid. I mean, they did everything perfect there. Sometimes when you win rounds against the top team like the Knights, half the time is, you know, a bit of a Knights throw. But I mean, everything the Hungry Lions did in that round, perfection. You look at this opening kill on Stigs, and yeah, look how quick and sharp that was from Neptune to understand the map and the spawn pig. Even that kill from Worm onto Sage. Sage with the little boost up as well. So really sharp kills from the Hungry Lions, and it could be the difference really on a map like Border. I look at Border almost as a map where it almost brings out a bit of that ranked game style, sort of shift W, run around and shoot people. And I feel like the Hungry Lions, that might just suit them a little bit naturally. But the Knights have gotten pretty good on Border in recent times and will back themselves in, hence the map pick. They will repeat Armory Archives and give it another go.
And with Azami off the board, I can only assume naturally this map will lean itself in towards the attack. Of course, we'll just have to see how it does progress. It is only the first round, and the Knights, I think, will be a little bit dirty on themselves. The way in which they gave away those first 2 picks. Stigs now will perhaps play a little bit more conservative down below, and instead of spawn peek and go for more of a time waste, he's established himself down below inside of bathroom, vert, rotations, probably open office hatch as well, or hatches elsewhere for rotations as he does now. He could jump back up those late round. Just throw a spanner in the works for Hungry Lions, who don't get an opening pick early on in this round, but set themselves up again for this CC clear.
Yeah, a little bit more of a slowed approach as well from the Knights on the defense. Less aggressive spawn peaks and a bit more on site. Quiz top east stairs, well defended by his magnets as well. Very important position to be played here. Has to be careful of anyone lurking down below as well if that does eventuate. Doing well to clear some of these drones. Only 6 remaining for the Hungry Lions. 2 minutes left, but trade happening elsewhere on the map. Quiz has at least 2 players in front of him just outside, so that's a moment away, and there is that shot onto Worm. That's the big one, and that's probably the round. If it goes the other way, it opens up top east stairs, and it gives the Hungry Lions a look in to get some ground control. Zane, big kill onto Stigs, but they still haven't cleared out top east until just now. They've pushed Quiz down below. Now it's a very dangerous swing from Jay Kenner, and he gets punished. Now Zane, the only one left.
Yeah, the util clear, not on point for Hungry Lions. that East Stairs position has been popularized recently in competitive play because it does prevent players like Zane now pushing over towards Office. Of course, position now forfeited and Quiz is low, which potentially keeps things somewhat winnable, I was going to say, but obviously not. And the Knights, again, lean into that util much better this time. Don't give away just the straight 1v1s that perhaps they did in round 1, and that's the result.
Yeah, very important position there if you're Quiz. Trying to hold that position. Must have felt pretty comfortable. Was not really checking below him too much. There was Sticks on the Oryx that was also, well, keeping an eye on the rotations down below, but ultimately, Hungry Lions didn't really offer a whole lot in trying to take that position. There was only the magnets to deal with as well. I don't even think it was shielded up. But ultimately, that is the repeat round that has gone successfully for the Knights. They'll obviously feel like the opening round was probably through their own issues more than the Hungry Lions, but I mean the Hungry Lions, in fairness, in that opening round hit some really, really good shots, played it well. Knights reel it in a little bit, play some different positions, bit more of a focus to East Stairs, bit more of a focus on site, less about the spawn peaks, and they take the round.
Over towards Workshop now for the third round. Castle being brought out here by the Knights, an operator that offers a lot of utility on a map like Border, where you are trying to prevent as many lines of sight as being opened as possible. And it looks like they're being used in quite a defensive fashion over towards the eastern side of the map, both up above and down below, just to offer a little bit more safety to the rest of the team roaming up above and extending to try and waste time. But like every site here on Border, the defensive effort will be map wide, and Hungry Lions will want to try and chip away at that slowly. Efforts begin over towards detention, the wall open uncontested. Josh peeks but won't find much. Jay Kenner does peek and finds Stigs, I believe, through the vert at half wall. Jay Kenner taken low in response, but will survive.
Yeah, big turnaround from Stigs actually from that Villa game to here on Border, 0 and 3. But on Villa, he was the one that was getting all of the opening kills and all of his spawn peaks were successful. And he hasn't quite been able to find the success here on Border. Bit of damage onto Worm. Josh feeling the pressure and does get thrown down, shot through the wall by Neptune. Again, further good signs here from the Hungry Lions, but trade by Juicy. Can maybe look to bring this round back in, and that would have been a dirty angle to find that kill. But still under the control of the Knights, and Juicy's still above inside of security as well. So still quite a bit more work to do for the Hungry Lions, but hey, they'll take this round so far with a bit of happiness. They were up 5-3. But now I think understanding there's still a bit more work to do, and Quiz! Big shot onto Jay Kenner. It's been a big grand final so far from Quiz.
Juicy on the vert, I think spotted the heel of that attacker down below. If it was Mazami, he was just taken low, so more information being fed to Juicy that there's a player directly below. Punches to find the angle, but it won't present itself just yet. Mazami would have heard that sound cue and now feeling the pressure. And talk about pressure, Juicy now. From the security window, forced back. Can't risk holding that position and will move away to 90. This round still could go either way. I think both teams have win conditions they can try and capitalize upon. Juicy needs to be careful though. If he wins the fight, they win the round. If he loses, it might go the other way, but he does win out 2v3.
And it's just slowly turned on them in this round. It started so well, might still end well with Neptune finding the kill onto Juicy. But Quiz and Sage will be so difficult to take down here. Neptune half health, Bazami not that much better. 20 seconds and Sage, who stands up to the moment, finds the kill. And Neptune, the 1 versus 2, no diffuser, he's outside. Position known as well. Really no expectation on him salvaging this round. Has to stick, the plant doesn't, and the Knights will take it. Well, it started really well in that round for the Hungry Lions, guys. They got up 5-3. They got a couple of early kills. Once again, the opening kill onto Stigs, but a failure to sort of capitalize and kick on from there.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, if they had the information we obviously are privileged with outlines, etc., Juicy needed to be pinched above there. He didn't have the support, I don't think, required to go for a trade. They open up that part of the map or alleviate the pressure on Mazami down below. Could have played things out differently if they had the advantage going into the execute, but just took him too long to clear it. Juicy, of course, got the kill. Probably then over-aggressed for the second to keep things slightly interesting, but without information on site, then a little time remaining, it was always basically going to be a Knights round. So well done there once again by the defense. And yeah, at the death, the Knights are clearly looking a lot better, and when they have utility to play into, they look very strong as well. The Hungry Lions need to try and keep exploiting positions where the Knights perhaps don't have as much of that utility to fall back on, because like we saw in the early round of round 3, that's where they were able to thrive, right? When they cleared out stock and other positions similar to that. But the Knights aren't going to give them too many of those opportunities, right? So it's about trying to exploit them and making the most of them when they do present themselves.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
So some good signs though from the Hungry Lions on border. It does feel largely more contested than Villa. They've done well in the early portions of these rounds, but the Knights just had the experience to close out. Oh, what a shot from Stiggs. Oh, he'll get this one as well. And suddenly from 0-3 to 2-3 for Stiggs, and the veteran is having some fun in this grand final. And it does actually feel, for the first time in this map, Guz, that Hungry Lions on the back foot early in the round and struggle to see how they're going to bring this round back.
Yeah, it's taken a little while for Stiggs to activate here on map 2, but undeniable that his +4 entry on Villa sets himself up nicely. He's going to go for more. He wants more. Mazami though gets one back, so he has to be careful. The quick peek for the third. Here's the repel for a potential fourth. Hungry Lions just cannot clear this position, and Stiggs is going to find this kill, surely. Just backs off a little bit, playing it smart. Play on the repel falls off. Minute 45 remains, and Hungry Lions need to pick up the scraps. Neptune, Mazami must isolate ones. They'll double stack over towards front door, but Josh is waiting.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Under a minute and a half remaining in the round. Stiggs with 3 in this round. Could still get the ace. Nitrocell.
Oh.
Let it flow down the well. No. Timed that pretty well, but just wasn't able to find the hit. Josh gets Neptune. Mazami, good shot. On to Josh. Gets the trade. But with 60 seconds left in the round in a 1 versus 3. Again, hard to see the Hungry Lions finding a round win here in the 4th. And the Knights looking likely to go up 1-3 here on border.
Stiggs still probing. Top metal. This is a favorable angle. He sees the gun. He gets the kill. Knights win round 4. And this feels like it's starting to just snowball a little bit.
It's slipping away, isn't it? The first round was so promising. The second round as well wasn't all that bad. And even the third round, there were some good signs. But that was the first round right there, here on border. That was largely in control, start to finish from the Knights. And that is the concerning factor of it, is you kind of expect the Knights to largely control these rounds for the team differential that this matchup really does bring. But, you know, the first 3 rounds really were pretty 50-50. So then you can imagine it's not much of a surprise to think the Knights will then find that way to really wrestle back full momentum. And maybe they've already just done so now. 3-1. I think they're on the verge of making this a 5-1 half on the defensive border. Does not spell good news for the Hungry Lions. They need to find a way back in the last 2 rounds of this half.
It's also just such a testament to the Knights on these defensive efforts, despite not having the Azami, who was a key operator in the last map. Still making it work, still playing well. I think most importantly, still being able to isolate ones as required.
5 seconds remaining.
Last round, a great example. Stiggs, good composure in CC. The Hungry Lions triple stack on the bulk. Did not work out. We'll see though heading into the 5th round if Hungry Lions can perhaps get at least a second attack on the board. It just keeps their head above water for a little while longer. May breathe some life back into this series, which is just slipping away ever so slightly. But momentum's a funny thing in Siege. It could bounce back. Quiz. East stairs again. Last time, Hungry Lions did not dump utility properly, and that's where they've looked weak. We'll see whether or not this time it does improve. Josh alongside to assist with the Nitro, but there's the flashes. A good start for Hungry Lions to push Quiz back, but they need to capitalize upon this. The nade won't land. Quiz not pushed. Josh still below. And you can see just how tricky the Knights are making this to push.
And largely avoids that nade. They are really struggling to deal with him. And Nitro falling short from Josh, but did a bit of damage on the worm anyway. Oh, moments away, Sage from finding a kill there. Back into break. The Knights defense is insufferable. Hungry Lions just cannot enter the building. It is just all balcony play for the Hungry Lions. They'd love to just enter and try and get security and break positions, but no. Completely denied. They've got no East Stairs control. But Zane finding a kill onto Juicy. Now, I don't even know where that one was from. Maybe shot onto sight from one of the windows, but it's a bit of a breakthrough, but they still haven't really got position. With a minute 10 left, at least they've got the extra player. With that, maybe could overwhelm one of these positions.
Chris needs to be very careful. I thought perhaps that was a player bot East, but not the case. Chris now for the run out. Oh, the air jab. Would have been a kill. Survives nonetheless. That player pushes in break. This next gunfight could dictate the terms of the round, but Quiz still playing passive. Information provided. It's an archive stack for Hungry Lions.
Sage getting that kill onto Neptune, though, takes away that advantage that the Lions had, and then Quiz as well, further compounding that. Josh, you feel just mere moments away. You see the pixel of the gun barrel, but looks away at the last second. Mazami then finds a kill. He's inside, that's Worm, and suddenly the Lions punishing a few sloppy mistakes there of the Knights until Quiz and Sage, the young guns again, stand tall. Oh, that's a calamity for it there from the Hungry Lions. But it's the young guns of the Knights that punish them.
Yeah, Hungry Lions are actually in a good position there, but then running Kit through Fountain, certainly not the play. Of course, planning on red carpet would be tough. That player Metal Half-Wall would have been in a great position to deny, but a body block, a sharp shot could have covered that. It's just little mistakes like that and little oversights being exploited by the Knights that just continue to disrupt some of these good positions that Hungry Lions do find themselves in. They started off well. They rotated off Quiz and ultimately we're actually in a good position in Archives. I think it was the right call, but
yep.
Just, yeah, these little mistakes right at the very end just are going to be exploited by the Knights. They know how to play out red time. They do a good job. And now this is probably the last round of the half where it is the last round of the half and Hungry Lions, I don't know if it is must win to keep the map alive, but I'm very inclined to think so.
Well, I think, you know, you talk about must wins. Every round is a must win, really, when you think about it against a team like the Knights. And getting that opening round felt as if, and in the way that they did it as well, felt as if that they were going to be competitive. And even the 2 rounds after that opening round win for the Hungry Lions were largely competitive. But they just couldn't quite execute down the stretch, and it cost them. Kind of allowed the Knights to get a few rounds that ultimately could have gone against them. And yeah, hard to see a way back now for the Hungry Lions. You just imagine Knights on the attack on border will be largely effective. East Stairs completely. I don't think Lions have ever got control of East Stairs in this first half.
And I think that's just a display of the experience the Knights have playing it and playing against it in APAC South. It's very common in that region. And I'm assuming Hungry Lions just probably don't have as much exposure to it, right? And it's basically impossible for them to push it the way the Knights are playing it and the way that they're playing it on the attack. Diffuser juggled outside of AC. Hungry Lions do have the advantage that they did last round. Sage, one back. Twitch off the board. Sage is still top east.
Sage finds another one. Sage and Quiz with 12 kills combined now, leading the way here on border. JK gets one back, and for the most part in this first half, it feels like it's been a lot of back and forth in these rounds, and there's one more that goes forth there for the Knights. Going up 3 versus 2 now for the remainder of this round and of this half. Sage, well, that was a little bit tricky, but he has Juicy above to then follow, calls it out, and the Don will respond. And once again, it's another 1vx for a member of the Hungry Lions. It's been a all too familiar theme in this grand final so far. It will be a 5-1 half for the Knights as well. As it was as well in the first half of Villa. It's been a defensive lesson here from the Knights against the Lions. They have been so difficult to break down. In 2 maps, they've only lost 2 defensive rounds.
Juicy. Too good, too clean. And the Knights overall, well and truly dominating. Very, very strong defensive half on their map pick. Now prepare for round 7. And a quick look back at that previous round. Good start by Juicy. Over towards break. The pressure on this side of the map has been quite relentless throughout this duel. And now we'll see, does the dynamic shift much heading in to round 7? I can't help but feel it could be even worse here for Hungry Lions. I'm not convinced that this should be as defender-sided as it has been.
No, and that's kind of what I was getting at a little bit earlier when you think about Knights on the attack, on border. Hard to imagine that they're going to be any easier to take down. The only thing I can sort of imagine is somewhat similar to Villa. You know, a side like Armory Archives, generally pretty good for the defenders. Outside of that, though, it's going to be difficult.
And you look at the numbers, right? 57% attack win rate for the Knights and 41% on the defense. So they've completely subverted even their own expectations and history heading into this series against arguably more difficult opponents in APAC South. So doesn't paint the brightest of pictures here for Hungry Lions, but as we continue to mention, and I know you've said it before, it is house money. There's nothing to lose here. It's not your map pick. It's not a series that realistically you're going to be winning anyway. So there's no reason for Hungry Lions to continue to fight here. You never know what might happen. You can trip up the Knights in a round or 2, make them feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
Could see them drop their heads. It is unlikely. The Knights have shown this stage that their mental fortitude is generally incredibly strong. So see whether or not it does hold up here. Round 7. Not particularly aggressive from either team. East Stairs is free real estate, and Chris will stake his claim.
We have Chalet after this as well, which could end up being the grand final map for the Knights if they do take this 3-0.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser. A bomb has been located.
But yeah, it's a long, long way back now for the Hungry Lions. Player roaming down below. Stiggs, he's just got a bit of information there actually. He didn't have the intel until the shots were fired. Stiggs looking for a repossession, somehow stays alive. He was not quite clued in though on where that Hungry Lions player was. Just barely gets away. Neptune, the one that has been roaming down below and loses his life to Josh. Felt like Neptune was so close to getting that kill onto Stiggs, but ultimately just couldn't find the kill. And it is the Knights that once again get the opening pick.
Chris flashing out Fountain. Pressure on the triple wall. Stiggs, albeit low, still finds a kill. Jay Kenner though for 2. A flank over towards east, not being watched by the Knights. And it's now a 3 versus 3 with a minute to go.
Good signs again here for the Hungry Lions. In these rounds, pretty much the majority of these rounds on border, maybe bar 1 or 2, they've been largely contesting and finding kills, and these kind of scorelines of 3-3 have been quite prevalent. Josh, though, And kind of like in the majority of those rounds, it's the Knights that just execute better down the stretch. Josh with 3 big kills to close the round out. Talk about walking it onto site and just having your way with the defenders. It's map point for the Knights and would put them on championship point as well if they close out Border here. 6-1. It was a similar position on Villa, and then the Lions did get the next 2, but yeah, it's a long way back for the Lions in this grand final.
Shout out to Jay Kenner though. In that previous round, a great flank for the 2K. And then Josh sweeping late, 3 kills late. On top of the earlier pick he got onto Neptune down below as well in custom. So a huge round from Josh, who up until that point actually was bottom fragging for the Knights, but you look across at the numbers now and it's just such a well-rounded, even performance from that team. And that's, I think, where others have potentially faltered throughout Stage 2 or the year as a whole. Just often not as well-rounded, but everyone chipping in at the moment, playing their part on the scoreboard and more generally as well. Hungry Lions also consistent, but unfortunately just not quite at that same level. And it just feels like at this point it's a little bit of a formality getting this map complete. So many rounds for the Hungry Lions to try and find back. The Knights bringing the Glaz here for the match point round. With SMG now in hand. Look, it's not as big of a meme pick as perhaps it otherwise would have been, and a smoke execute here up above is not all too uncommon.
Oh, they do lose Quiz though to Mazami really early on in the round. There goes the line, so no EE1D available for any potential rush onto site. Not going to happen there, especially when you consider Sage with the Candelas. We'll see what Stiggs has up his sleeve though on the Glaz. Does seem like they would largely want to execute early on in this round, and now is go time. Juicy as well, straight into Archives and going for that plant. It's actually a knife from Sage onto Mazami. An interesting way to get the trade. Sage also then gets another one, but now the Hungry Lions converting these kills. And a largely ineffectual rush there from the Knights gets shut down. 6-2 is the score.
Yeah, certainly an interesting game plan there from the Knights, but Hungry Lions keep their cool, able to get that round across the line. A strange plant position there from, I believe it was Josh on the Nook. Trying to catch Hungry Lions off guard, but not to be. That's probably the only freebie I think the Knights are going to give on this map. They'll now go back to a standard composition. Vents Workshop, the objective. And expecting this time for there to be a greater emphasis on map control here from the attack.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs. Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Don't necessarily mind that though by the Knights trying something clearly there and on a site that's already, generally quite difficult to attack. Why not go for something a bit cheeky, but largely ineffectual. Credit to the Lions for shutting that down. And I think that's been one thing that has been good to see, is that anytime the Knights have gone for any kind of cheeky play in this grand final, the Lions have not fallen for it. They've always been able to punish it, essentially. So it says to me that as good as the Knights are, and obviously the better team, that when they do go for those cheeky plays, the Lions are good enough to make sure that that doesn't pay off, that the Knights, the best version of the Knights is what is required to beat the Lions, not the cheeky plays.
Yeah, totally agree. Hungry Lions still committing to a roam here on next round. Spawn peaks were attempted but not landing. Detention being opened up. Mazami though, I reckon he's going to use this to his advantage. Stiggs gets a kill. Mazami for the peak. Knights need to be very careful about this opening, but Mazami just fires a little bit too early.
It's either you're early or you're late. It's probably better to be firing early and staying alive. Something that Neptune, of course, was not able to do, is stay alive, and now Jay Kenner dies as well. The Knights can just systematically pick you apart on your defense. They win their ones more than any other team in the Oceanic region. So good at understanding these maps and where to push in. Good shot, though, from Mazami. That time onto Stigs. Or honestly, could have almost got a second one there onto Josh, but Josh avoiding all of those bullets. Minute and a half remaining. Knights with a one-player advantage, but they've still got to deal with Mazami. Turning out to be a nuisance here and almost gets the kill onto Juicy. Quiz dying to Worm, though. Elsewhere. Zane falls to Sage, and that 3 versus 3 is short-lived. Still a lot of pressure, though, and Mazami stands up to the pressure. Big kill onto Josh, brings it back to an even scoreline. In a winnable round here for the Hungry Lions.
Thought the round was over. Mazami isolated. Now Sage 1v1.
Oh, Mazami, I think we'd be on almost for a 4K here if he can close out this round against Sage. On map point. In the second map of this grand final. And no, well played from Sage. Gets off of the diffuser, has the sound cue, and has the smarts to then swing and find that kill. Knights go 2-0 up here in the OCS Grand Final against the Hungry Lions.
The clinic continues for the Knights, a 7-2 victory, and if you exclude the rush, it could well have been a 7-1. Ultimately very well played, and just at every point in time, basically it looked like the Knights were in a favourable position, and even the rounds in which they were still able to find those win conditions, which we've known the Knights to do. Again, they've really improved their border. They showed it here today.
Yep.
So many of those positions being held on the defense especially stood out as just being so hard, I think, for Hungry Lions to crack open. And that's just reflective of the APAC South experience that this squad has. They're putting it on full display this afternoon, and heading into the third map, it's looking increasingly likely that it will be the final map in this series.
It's a very tall ask for any team, let alone the Hungry Lions, to now need a reverse sweep against the Knights here in the grand final. 2-0 is the current scoreline. We head to Chalet after the break to see if the Knights can make this a quick 3-0.
Can't forget the past, so you gotta learn from it. Heavy on the passion, let it burn on it. All the way you can outrun me. Ain't no way you can win this race. Ooh, when they turn the page to the white face down, paint 'em all in black. Ooh, just remember that when everything's falling, we built this to last. You can see it in my eyes, only want the best. And we rewriting every night, won't settle for less. Got me looking to the sky, got me feeling blessed. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest. Burning up inside of my chest. Burning up inside of my chest. Burning up inside of. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest.
Yeah, I lit my own flame, and I put that on my own name. Couldn't get this way with no pain. I feel the fire in us. Whoa, they looking for the goals. You can feel the pressure, bring it everywhere we go. And I deal with the highs, the same way I treat the lows. Oh no, don't close your eyes, I'm taking everything you owe me.
You can see it in my eyes, only want the best. And we rewriting every night, won't settle for less. Got me looking to the sky, got me feeling blessed. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest. Burning up inside of my chest. Burning up inside of my chest. Burning up inside of. Got
right out, show your face, and let everybody see you. You're gonna tell it to the world, even when you might get hurt, but that's the price. But you feel so alive when you only just show it all. I just keep running around, but I can talk about it. It just feels like it's true, and I keep running, but I don't wanna talk about it. Let me try just a little bit of what you think might be the next thing. You wanna keep it to yourself, but you're never gonna tell someone else. And you feel so alive when you only just think about it. I just keep running around, but I can talk about it. It just feels like it's true, and I keep running, but I don't wanna talk about it. I just keep running around, but I can talk about it. It just feels like it's true, and I keep running, but I don't wanna talk about it. I just keep running around, but I can talk about it. It just feels like it's true, and I keep running, but I don't wanna talk about it.
Get 'em down, everybody, come and clap your hands. Feel the groove, everybody, get up and dance. Yeah, 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 yeah. Let it go, feel it down in your soul. 1, 2, 3, now. Turn it up, get on down. Baby, gonna twist and shout. Rip it up, clap
4-door. Me and you, yeah, we're dumb and dumber. Sun-kissed at the beach all summer. I want it so bad, I had to go and get it. I need it, oh yeah, just wait until you feel it. Punching the waves like we're 16. You're reading Bukowski while you're feeling my heart. Is it love or just caffeine? Is it the end or is it just the start? We're taller than some of our parts, but my darling, we're falling apart. Punching the waves like we're 16. While you're breaking my heart. We're stalling. It's 1993.
Welcome back from the break. The Knights have gone 2-0 up in the series here, and they're only one away from closing out the OCS in a clean sweep. And I mean, Proto, I feel like, by the way, welcoming Proto and Guz to the desk. Sorry, probably should preface that one. Proto, it feels like this is just Knights clinic.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, Knights, round after round, Hungry Lions only able to find 5 total in the matchup so far in the 2 maps, and it just speaks to the levels of the consistency of the Knights. There's a reason that they're the top team in OCE right now. They really do keep that momentum up. I mean, even if they falter 1 or 2 rounds, they're right back on it. They make the change required, and they just continue to dominate throughout this matchup. So it's no real surprise we see them going forward into the 3rd with both points already under their belt.
And Guz, you've been casting them for the past 2 games. I mean, is there anything that can go wrong for the Knights at this point? I feel like they are just far too comfortable in this game.
Yeah, I mean, they have so many match points now, right? That it's tricky for the Hungry Lions to bring it back 3 maps straight. They'll need. I guess the only real negative takeaway there for the Knights is probably that entry stat, which was lackluster compared to map 1. That said, they set a very high standard on Villa, so backing that up was always going to be tricky. And regardless, entry stat doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's the number to the left, 7-2, still incredibly, incredibly dominant. And going forward, I don't see it slowing down really anytime soon. Chalet is a map that Hungry Lions have played once this stage. They lost to Ludovica, who arguably have dropped off here in stage 2 as well. So unfortunately, it doesn't bode particularly well for them.
Proto, that was probably going to be my next question. You know, Chalet does not really show the most positive signs for Hungry Lions, and probably looking more so to the Knights at this point. Is this closed out in 3?
Yeah, 100%. I don't doubt the Knights' ability to take this in 3. I mean, as we said, Chalet, not a great map for Hungry Lions. So coming into this, the Knights with the momentum they've already built up, I mean, quite easily, I'd imagine, close this in 3 without any real questions being posed.
Guys, we spoke to Juicy and Stiggs yesterday, both of them alluding to the fact that no matter the play style, they will play into your play style, you know, fight fire with fire. Yeah. Do you think that there's going to be any type of play style that Hungry Lions can bring that Knights won't be prepared for here?
I mean, that's the question, right? I think Hungry Lions can always try and throw something at Knights to catch them for a round or 2, and that's probably what's worked for them in the series thus far, where they have collected a couple of rounds, but that's where it stops, right? The Knights eventually, sooner rather than later, are going to tighten things up. We saw it on Villa, we saw it on Border as well, so perhaps the Hungry Lions can bring something here to throw their opponents off, but I don't think that's going to last for particularly long, and I basically share the sentiment of Proto. I would be flabbergasted if this map went anywhere close to overtime, and Knights should be cleaning it up very, very, very easily.
Yeah, it could be a little bit worrisome, there's no doubt about it. Proto, just to keep the conversation going on for the Hungry Lions, I want to make sure that this isn't just the Knights show, even though they have pretty much ensured it from, Playday 2 onward of Stage 2. We do have to try and keep as much positivity for Hungry Lions as we can. So are you looking to anyone in particular on this roster, or is this just one of those things where if there is a win to be had, it's got to come from the playstyle? What are your thoughts?
I mean, highlight players, definitely sort of Mazami and Worm, they've been putting in the work on the entry side of things. A lot of those opening kills have been found. Even Zane, actually, if we sort of look back to the last couple of games we've seen, they are the sort of 3 people that have been having the most impact on entry. So the Hungry Lions, if they can definitely enable those 3 players to just sort of get into the building, give them some leeway going into the mid to late round. I mean, if Hungry Lions can put themselves up that extra step, they'll definitely have a little bit more leverage over what the Knights are bringing. But it, again, comes back to consistency. Even if they find those mistakes, it'll be on Hungry Lions to switch it up round after round, which they haven't been doing so far. So if they can keep a diverse playstyle going into this next map, definitely could be Hungry Lions to find a few more than 3.
Well, the entry stat was theirs on Border, but unfortunately there were no other dubs in the columns for Hungry Lions. Knights up 2-0 in the series, and we head to Chalet. Let's hope you've got your snow boots, Fandy and Dev.
Thank you, Rob. It could be another swift 3-0 to finish off this Stage 2 of OCS. We have the battle for who is the true king of the jungle of these 2 Lions, the Hungry Lions or the Knights. Mandy, is it going to be 3 maps? Because it seems like the desk is pretty convinced.
I'm pretty convinced by it as well. The Knights, they had a pretty strong strowing on it. Like, Chalet's just been a good map for them. They took game into it. Unfortunately, didn't close it out, but they had a really great strat book on Chalet. They also played against the Chiefs, which is a little better showing. And I think overall, the confidence is in their favor.
The confidence has been squarely in the Knights' favour. However, we have seen rookies upset in the past. Hungry Lions have already taken down Bliss, the OCN Stage 1 runners-up. They've taken down Wildcard, the OCN Stage 1 champions. But now they must come back from a 2-map deficit over what may well be the best team that Oceania has to offer in the Knights.
GLHF's in the chat for what could be the final map of the series. The Hungry Lions take the first ban. And also, one more thing to go into Chalet here is that the Knights are starting out on the attacking half as well. Historically, we've seen that Chalet is pretty attacker favoured, and Thatcher going out, though, pretty standard, but I don't think that's going to hold to the Knights' attack whatsoever.
And the Finker to go out from Knights as well. We've seen Worm do all kinds of impressive things on that Finker. We've seen, well, to be frank, the Knights have a pretty fair bunch of Finker players themselves as well. But does leave a lot of strong ops still on the attacking side.
The first defending bans come out as well on the side of the Knights. And that will be the Aruni, not something that I would have expected going into Chalet. That's a curious one for me. But taking out the Aruni is pretty important here on Chalet. There's a lot of site construction that needs to be done that is often fulfilled by that Aruni passive ability. And instead the Knights, or the Hungry Lions rather, on the defense will be forced to take that extra shotgun, secondary shotgun, or whatever it might be to make some of those holes. Valkyrie being taken out does mean that Azami is left in, however, and that's a very key part of the defense.
The Flora is also making it through the Operator Vito, another very strong attacker on Chalet for clearing a lot of these power positions for the shields. But I don't know, Mandy, if this is going to be a game of utility or a game of confidence, because it feels like the Hungry Lions are very close to being slaughtered. They have sunk back into their shells. The Knights asserting their dominance early are really testing these rookies.
Sinking back into the shell is something that the Hungry Lions cannot afford to do, though. If they give the Knights the real estate they need on Chalet, this is one of the maps where the architecture will allow them to choke out that defense very easily. So many cutoffs to be played, and each site is very vulnerable to many windows, many doorways, or fast points of entry, and such is the nature of this map. For the Hungry Lions, they'll have to dig into that strat book and dig into whatever confidence they have left to fight them early on this entry.
Well, the Knights were the #1 team in OCN Stage 2, but it has been a while since we've seen them take a great big grand final. I'm thinking way back to the start of 2021, where they won the season finals for 2020. I think it was January 2021. They took down the then dominant Wildcard, and it was Knights' first ever big championship. It's been a long time since they've played a best of 5. And now against the Hungry Lions, it looks like it is their best chance at proving that they are the #1 team in this region.
And not only is it the Knights' not first time, but a long time coming on a best of 5. This is the Hungry Lions' first time in a best of 5 series. We've never ever seen this team go into a multi-map series before, but they've shown us some good stamina, and we'll see if they can repeat it. Mazami going for a pretty exciting round to Josh. He finds it, the repel animation preventing him from turning around and shooting Mazami in time, and the first kill will go in the way of the Hungry Lions.
This may be a game of confidence, but you've got to respect that Hungry Lions are here to play. They're not going to sink away. But Sage does get a strong reply with this advanced position all the way on the solar stairs, and the rest of Knights now to support and put these Hungry Lions players under the pump.
Sage now with full control of Solar Stairs. Worm still wanting to hold on to that top floor, but of course the site is not here in the top floor. It is in fact in dining and kitchen. But with half of the top floor control and now being contested further by Sage on this entry, they could go to claim even more space and play some of that vertical.
Oh, Sage finds a double for the round with Worm going down. Good information here for Knights as well. You can see all those yellow pings. Sage's teammates calling for his advance. It's just Neptune now on this top floor to try and halt the control from the Knights.
Neptune with a fortress in the top floor, 2 Azami barricades protecting him inside of Piano, but Sage to find yet another kill onto Zane through the vertical, now progressing his way onto that top floor player of Neptune, rather. He's pretty stuck with no way to advance, and now the Knights in the man advantage.
Very big ask here for Mazami and Neptune. Neptune, oh, really like that from him. Opening up the long angle through Office, and Mazami's holding down the fort on site as well. But it does, however, mean Knights have full information on where these remaining players reside. Mazami, bit of damage, but no kill as of yet.
Now still in the 2-on-3, the Knights with the advantage, but time is ticking away slowly. Kit cannot be put on the ground yet with 2 defenders in their half. Only 15 seconds left to go, and the execute has to come out for the Knights.
And it is Juicy to grab that diffuser and start the plant. Quiz got to cover low HP. Is Juicy adequately protected? The rattle of that LMG goes out, but Neptune found a kill through the floor. Or rather, onto that planter after Juicy had gotten that diffuser down. Sage now to cover from above. He has the perfect position. He's found 4 kills on for the round. And even if Quiz can't close it out, it's going to be the ace surely here for Sagen. 24 seconds to go. Neptune would have to 1v2 clutch this, but he's going up against the red-hot player on the Knights.
Only 15 seconds left as well. There's just no time for Neptune.
There's no way he can get back to that diffuser. Sage may want the ace, but he is not going to forfeit the opportunity. Goes in, and that is it to kick off what could be the final map of the championship. Sagen with all 5.
Sage on Buck, I mean, can you give a better iconic duo, Dev? He's so incredible on this operator. That L8 in the hands and 2 grenades as well. It's just such a lethal combination on a player like Sage. We saw him on this entry so strong coming up that solar stairs, managing to trade one back for his team, only to progress through that top floor, make use of the vertical completely, taking down the anchors on the site and eventually finishing off the round for the Knights. I don't mind that from the Hungry Lions though. They showed us the aggression that I was looking for when I said on Chalet they could be choked out. There was a possibility of those repels. Mazami was on it straight away. He went for that run out onto Josh and gave them that initial advantage. It was just through that mid round that it started to get dicey on the top floor, and Hungry Lions lost their grip of this map.
And it's such a stark contrast between what the Knights are doing and what just about every other team that we've seen in OCS is doing. Knights were somewhat pushed at the start of their match against Kraken. And Kraken they were on something. They were just sending it in. Phoenix was all on his entries. All of the players on that team, in fact. Hyper-aggression, risk-taking. That's what they were about, and that's what caught Knights off guard at the start of that game. But following that, Knights read into the playstyle, and they figured out that they know how to counter that strategy. It's about being ready for it, about doing it, getting in there, and getting the job done.
Just kind of looking for a cheeky spawn peek out onto the campfire spawn. He won't find anybody. Some bullets will spray through the window, and the Knights will shape up to take Chalet very slowly. Sage starting on one side while the rest of his teammates pivot their way to play cutoffs on the other side of the map, some in library, some outside of lobby, as the wall has already been open going to Snowmobile Garage.
Very efficient start here for the Knights. Wine Cellar Snowmobile, unlike any other bomb site on this map, it's all in that basement. And there's a lot of hard breach required. That's why you can see Knights. Both the Jackal, or rather, both the Thermite and the Ace for hard breach, and the Jackal for this roam clear. The roam game is just so imperative. If hard breach is too easy for the attack, then the defenders have to rely on contesting as much of the map as possible.
And Quiz making perfect use of that Jackal, already making his way into office. Neptune, however, will be his supporting partner, as Worm's actually being pinched out right now. Someone in Solar. The Jackal pushing through office as well. Worm could be in a heap of trouble.
But it could be trouble for Knights. If Hungry Lions can find a pick or two here, what a great opener for Jakenna. Traded back immediately by Josh. And while Knights may have lost their hard breacher, they have at least evened up the numbers.
Quiz now sitting his way inside of office. He has an inkling that there may be some plays in that top floor. In fact, there is two. Worm going for the swing. He will take down Quiz. And suddenly, man advantage in the hands of the Hungry Lions.
More importantly here, Knights are struggling to take this top floor. Worms found another one. The Hungry Lions proving elusive opponents. Is the Knights able to finally clean up these final roamers? Josh might be able to get it done. A bit of a spray. Only 8 bullets left, but look at that teamwork from the Knights. Juicer to come in, swoop forth, and support his teammate. 2v2 with both of the remaining defenders on site.
Mazami and Zane deciding to play the conservative game with time doodling away for the Knights. They will be forced to make their next move onto the bomb side if they want to push this into a round win. Quickly now, 35 seconds only left to go. Mazami holding onto the blue push, but actually Juicy's making his way down the west main stairs instead. Do they know?
Good use of the Vulcan canister. That's going to lock Josh out of this round for most of the rest of the timer. Juicy's going to have to be relied upon. Josh is actually going for the rotation here. Is Hungry Lions aware? Smoke goes out, but the kill from Zane. Doesn't matter about the smoke when you're on the ward and when you can see through, but Josh! What a clutch! 1v2 and the Knights double down.
Unreal from Josh coming down the main stairs, making use of his teammate, distracting the two players, the Hungry Lions, and finding the timing, isolating each 1 versus 1 to win out that round for the Knights. For all the credit that the Hungry Lions got on that roam, playing the visual so elusive in that top floor, it doesn't amount to anything when in the end the Knights can be so coordinated in that 2-on-2 execute.
And the Lions didn't have to peek there. You know, Josh doesn't have diffuser, he's not planting. There's no time on his side. Lions have the favor. They got 2 players. He's in a dead crossfire. They could have waited, but in the chaos of the moment, that doesn't spring to mind. The player picks from Con, and that's when Josh knows, hey, there's a chance here. There is an opportunity. I just have to seize it. And he did perfectly. Josh has been such a phenomenal player in Stage 2 throughout OCN, APAC South, and now the OCS. But it's really every one of these Knights players who stepped up when called upon. Round 1, Sage, Ace, and a 1v1 clutch. Round 2, Josh, a 1v2 clutch. Star-studded roster doesn't even tell the half of the story.
Absolutely, and now the Hungry Lions choosing to not repeat the same sites at all, going to bar and games instead, holding onto this top floor with the aid of the Warden and Smoke 2 shields to go where they normally go. Worm and Jakenna deciding to hold on to the other side of the map, and they'll have to bring back some of this composure that we've seen time and time again from the Hungry Lions this past weekend even. They have done so well at holding it together in the midst of the chaos. They've done so well even against that wildcard series to set the pace, but it's not showing up in this series against the Knights. They need to find that confidence in them once again.
With every tight round that Knights close out, that's another blow that the Lions are feeling to their confidence, rattling them. And to start on the defensive, Chalet just makes it so much more difficult here. This is Hungry Lions' map pick after all. They're the ones who wanted to take us to Chalet. But, you know, you could say the same for Villa, where this all started, and that didn't turn out so well for them either.
Jakenna looking for a run out, but cut off by Styx, who's still sitting outside the building, holding onto those windows, anticipating that the Hungry Lions might be looking for something desperate, something different and unusual to take down the plays of the Knights. Now with the man advantage, Quiz making his way into the building on the Nook. We'll see what comes of that cheeky play from him as well. And the Knights just trying to capitalize on the mistakes that the Hungry Lions might be making.
Completely unfazed. Knights have so much info. They've got the playmaking ability of a guy like Quiz. On for the entry. Through the bar hallway. Takes up camera behind him, starving information away from the Hungry Lions. On for the angle, and he catches Worm off guard. Waltzing straight into the site now. Mazami just in the firing line, takes a bit of damage, and this is surely it. The Knights once again.
Wow.
Quick flick there for Quiz. 3k on the round. It's just Neptune left. And his position has been revealed. Surely that's it.
1 versus 5 situation for Neptune, but Quiz is hot on his tail. Someone in the basement about to round the corner. Is that Josh? Yes, it is. And Josh will close out the round for the Knights.
What can you say? Utter dominance from the Knights as expected. They are a league above. And they're demonstrating it here on their Chalet attack. 3 straight rounds. So that was a lot more convincing than the rounds prior. And the Hungry Lions, they just keep desperately changing bomb sites. Kitchen dining, snowmobile wine cellar, bar games. It doesn't matter.
And the way that the Knights attacked that particular bomb site just makes it so difficult to dissect if you were on the side of the Hungry Lions. Like you said, starved for information. There are no cams up, and even if there were, that's the Nook that's there on the entry. So difficult to keep track of, so elusive on the side of the attack. Not only that, but by positioning all the Knights players around other points of pressure, it's so hard for Hungry Lions to get a read on exactly where the major point of pressure is coming from, where the major push and your entry is coming from. That sense of distraction is exactly what enables a player like Quiz to make his way through the building, find 3 kills, and close out the round for the Knights. And once again, just shows how masterful this team has been on this map.
True masters. It's an exciting time to be a Knights fan. They have so much depth in their playstyle. Every single player. I mean, you're looking... For 3 out of the 4 rounds so far, Quiz and Sage have played a different operator every single round. For a different bomb site, they're like, hey, different ingredient perhaps. If Neptune lands that, maybe there's a shot for Lions, but yet again, that classic aggression that we know them for, that we love them for. Throwing a spanner in the works, they just can't quite land it.
Even though they can't land it, I can commend them for continuing to go for it. The moment that they stop going for it is then when they're dialing back, pulling back into their shell and losing that confidence. The fact that they need to continue going for it reinstills a little bit of that, okay guys, we're still in this. No matter what, we still need to mount this pressure. No matter how down in the rounds, whatever it might be, there's no giving up for the Hungry Lions.
And this is Chalet defense after all. Very difficult ask. That said, you got the Azami and the Wamai in. You should be able to fortify some positions and play off them for a long time. But Knights, they're not falling victim to taking unfavored fights, unfavored positions. And the droning has been immaculate. Look at Quiz. Full drone of the top floor. So much information on these positions. Juicy to back it up. The Knights, they know exactly what they need to do.
Worm, though, he's made some abstract art around the piano. An interesting sculpture of the Kiva barriers is protecting him from any push that might come from inside the hallway, and it's also protecting him from the push of the window as well. Jakenna even, to find that first pick onto Quiz on the double window, that's that cutoff player down.
It's a big one for Hungry Lions, and bigger still that Knights haven't been able to trade it as of yet. 2 rounds so far, the very first 2. Lions did get the opening pick, but it was traded. Instead, this time they double down.
Now a 3-on-5 situation in favor of the Hungry Lions, and top floor control still in their favor as well. That is a huge point of advantage strategically. Josh instead starting to make his way through the ground floor, trying to find any Hungry Lions players that might not be looking in his direction, any anchors that might not be knowing he's on his way. 2 grenades to go through, but nothing connects.
Juicy though, patience rewarded as Jakenna gets a little bit antsy inside Solar and is taken down. How long can Juicy sit on this rappel for? It's him and Stigs trying to play cutoff. Josh rather, now as well. 30 seconds left doesn't give them a lot of options.
They have capitalized on Jakenna making a small error going through the solar hallway. All it takes for is for another Hungry Lions player to make another mistake like that. Over-peeking is exactly what Zane does, and Worm to follow through as well. Suddenly, 2-on-3 advantage, slightly more winnable for the Knights.
Slightly more winnable, you say? 1v3 necessity now for Neptune. He would have heard that plant start up, but he's revealed his position. No more impacts left in the spray. This was a 3v5, Mandy. Now it's a 3-on-1, and Neptune, the rest of his team, just to sit and wait and hope that he has an answer here. But the Knights have stacked up on it, and they do deliver. What a round, coming back from the 3-on-5 to the 3v0.
The Hungry Lions, they had that round in the bag. All they needed to do was be a little bit more conservative, play those numbers advantage and play the trades, but they couldn't do that. Instead, fall to the hands of the Knights players, being so elusive once again through the map, making use of the windows where they can to cut off these Hungry Lions players, capitalizing on their inexperience, the mistakes, and just showing that the Knights, these guys are the veterans in the lobby. These guys are the ones with the experience, and they dominate the architecture of Chalet.
And we haven't seen Hungry Lions repeat the same bomb site 2 rounds in a row. They just constantly moving around, unable to defend any of the 4 bomb sites. Haven't even tried Master Office, by the way. This is the second attempt now on Snowmobile Wine, and this was by far the closest round that Hungry Lions managed to achieve. A really strong roam game, and then Josh to clutch up in the 1v2.
In this last attempt of the roam game, we saw the mid-round get a little bit dicey, a little bit scary, and what I want to comment on is the Knights in that mid-round had a big disconnect between the intel and the entries of that round. We saw Quiz, he was stuck inside of Office, even though he was the Jackal, he didn't have any drones that were following him in. Same thing with the entry through Solar. As soon as they were down on the numbers, there was a big gap in the intel, which caused the Hungry Lions to be able to get so much out of this roam. Instead, though, the Knights, we saw in that last round, they really picked up on their drone work. We saw Quiz get a full look in that top floor like you commented, and if they keep that up, I can see this going into a 5-0 half. They've just done so well. They're so proficient at it so far.
Mandy, previously Knights went for a heavy roam clear. They've changed their op lineup though. You got the Ossa. Is this a more of a direct hit, trying to bypass that roam game?
Well, this could work, except that there are 2 sets of impacts on the side of the defense. That being said, Mazami has already used his, so actually only 2 left in the hands of the entire team. Mazami will now call out to his teammates, okay, we need someone to come back. Zane with the Warden is the perfect operator to bring back if they're going to utility dump and go for this plant, because he can see right through that.
But for Knights, they know that simply going for a direct side hit with the Ossa isn't going to be enough. Oh my god! Almost a wallbang there from Josh, but he gets a bit of it back. Thanks to Neptune. Very swift on the flick there and shoots up through that barricade, gets that headshot.
Now the rest of the Knights deciding to convene all of their players around the breach side. I think we see someone on the balcony just above them as well. Actually, Quiz making his way down the main stairs. So 3 Knights players looking for this execute that could come out anytime soon. Well, this is a bit sneaky.
Very, very sneaky. Sneaky beaky-like for Quiz in the bomb site. And protected from a lot of angles. If the rest of Knights can bait someone to moving forward, he might be able to get a freebie. Spots the player 2, in fact, in connector. Can get the first one. The trade, no! How does Quiz win that? What? The plan is going down. And it looks like Knights may have this in the bag. Hungry Lions on for the retake, but Juicy will confirm that diffuser.
This man is absolutely insane on the Nook and still alive. Neptune coming in for the retake. Does Quiz know? On a sliver of HP. Mazami to double down on the push, and Neptune is able to make the retake work slightly in his favor. A keeper barrier to possibly punch up the breach, protect it. Can the diffuser go down? Can they counter diffuse?
The 3 keeper barriers might be enough for Neptune. Goes for the pick, but Stigs to clean it up. A valiant attempt there from the Hungry Lions, but once again, the Knights nigh unstoppable and just 2 rounds away now from becoming champions.
Scary prospect for the Hungry Lions on their defending half. They haven't been able to find anything, so many close rounds. That last round, I thought for sure they were going to pull out something out of the bag. The Kiva barriers to protect the counter defuse. I thought that was just the most genius thing to go forward, but 3 hits is all it takes, and eventually the Knights in that post plant, it works out in their favor. And now, Hungry Lions, they must be rattled in their mental. 5 rounds in a row to lose is nothing to laugh at anymore. It's nothing where you can sit back in your chair and still go, okay guys, we're still in it, with a shaky voice.
Well, I think that is one thing that I would expect Hungry Lions are not feeling right now, pressure. Yeah, you look at this, you're like, excuse me, they're down 5-0. They're about to lose the championship in, to be frank, a really dominating and somewhat embarrassing manner. But keep in mind the context here. Knights are the best team in the region. Hungry Lions have far outpaced their expectations by even making it to the semi-finals, let alone the grand final here. Now, they took down Bliss. They took down Wildcard. Already, Hungry Lions have done what nobody thought they were capable of. And now here they are. Yes, it's challenging, but they still have the gall to spawn peak. That is what you got to love about this team.
Neptune, he might be able to connect this one onto Stigs if he rounds the corner, but it seems like he was just looking for a place to put his Nomad jab onto the bathroom hop out. The rest of the Knights shaping their way around a library take, it seems like, and the Hungry Lions have already peeled back pretty far from this point of contest. Quiz even making his way through the basement. Lots of avenues in for the Knights, but Neptune to take down Sage, like you said, that confidence is still oozing from them, even 5 rounds down.
Yet another opening pick for Hungry Lions, who have dominated the opening kills, and yet are still 0-5. Good job taking down the drones, though. Knights have really been relying on these drones and making excellent use of them, so any drone that Hungry Lions can take down is a huge boon to them.
Half of the wall is actually unreinforced on this top floor, although the bomb site is down in kitchen and dining. I'm not sure what they're trying to achieve with this. Maybe an impact trick. Ooh, Neptune. Is that an impact that he's got in his hand, looking for the exothermic charge? Oh, he looks for it, but he doesn't connect. Such a good try from the Hungry Lions to try and prevent that breach from going off, but Juicy can get it down.
Nice idea there from Hungry Lions. We've seen a lot of nice ideas, but unfortunately execution not quite pitch perfect. Neptune, though, looking for an aggressive peek. Quiz is on for this lurk again. And now that Juicy's got a breach open, Hungry Lions are really going to start feeling that pressure, especially now that the Knights have evened up the numbers.
Juicy face-checking his way into the site as well, perhaps looking for an early execute. Still through the mid-round, and top floor control is being held by the Hungry Lions. But do they have the vertical they need to stop this execute? I don't think they do.
Plant's not going down as of yet, though. There are yokai drones from Mizami. So Hungry Lions have some information should this plant start to go down. Neptune may well get timed here. Josh on for the peak, but just waiting for his moment, listening for a sound cue. He goes for the peak. It could be the perfect timing, and he does take down Neptune.
Attackers have located a bomb.
And now the Knights with the man advantage. Quiz making his way up the west main stairs as well. Player now cut off inside of Trophy, but Worm is able to claw one back. 3-on-3. Quiz goes down as well, coming up the main stairs. The onslaught comes through from the Knights, but is it successful?
Oh, Juicy coming in quickly for the backstab. On for the snipe. He sneaks on through and is getting that plant down. Is Mizami able to do anything about it? Juicy! The Don himself puts it into a 2v1. Mizami might have some plant denial, but he himself is denied. And the Knights roar once again. A single round from being champions.
A 6-0 half on the attack. Could you ask for a more perfect attack? I don't think you could. The Knights in such dominating fashion to take down this Hungry Lions defense single-handedly. Just so easily on the back of Quiz, on that Nook, being enabled every single round was so impactful for the Knights. It really drew away the attention of the Hungry Lions. It was so difficult to get a read on exactly what the Knights were going for. And by that time they realized it was just too little, too late. Now the Hungry Lions on their attack half have to replicate the success of the Knights if they want to even push it into overtime and claw their way back into the series, and that just seems nigh impossible.
It really feels like we are entering a new era of Rainbow Six in OS. 2021 definitively was the year of the Chiefs. And here in 2022 Knights, they won OCN Stage 1. They might have fallen short in OCS, with Wildcard taking that out, but Stage 2 has absolutely shown us that the Knights are the undisputed best team in the Oceanic region. And they are dominating here in the OCS, as they dominated Hungry Lions during OCN as well. Just a single round from finishing it off with a clean 7-0 victory. And where the Knights look next, it's got to be going to majors, winning international tournaments. That is what they are capable of. Like, they have proven how far ahead within the Oceanic region this team is right now. And after the pitfalls of the end of last year, where this team failed to go to Mexico, where they fell to the bottom of the standings, it's been a hell of a journey.
The Knights, they absolutely deserve it, especially with this rejuvenated roster. Steeg's already looking for the run out, trying to close this out early, put pressure on the Hungry Lions. They consolidate their way around Solar. Met by so many roamers though, and Quiz, he'll open up this possibly final round for the Knights. Man disadvantage for the Hungry Lions.
You want to talk about people who have really found their feet here. It is Quiz, proven to be a valuable pickup for the Knights, but well, the kills continue to go back and forth. Only a minute down. Worms found a kill and been traded back. Josh now looking for one once again, and he does! That's Chikenna out. It's now a 1v4 in the final round of the OCS. The Knights dominating throughout OCN Stage 2 and dominating yet again in the Oceanic Championship Series. They take it without breaking a sweat. 7-0 on Chalet. And the Knights, humbly your champions.
The Knights are indeed the kings of the jungle, as they've proven in this best of 5 series. 3-0 to take down the Hungry Lions, but a valiant effort from them to make it this far. They should be giving themselves a pat on the back, honestly. The Knights, they're such a formidable opponent. They showed us a Chalet that was so confident. They knew exactly what to do and how to punish the inexperience of the Hungry Lions, and they show us why they are the kings of OCE.
They undoubtedly are the kings of the jungle, the kings of OCE, and the Oceanic Championship Series champions. They have improved so much over the course of 6 months. It feels like only yesterday that we were talking about Knights to be one of the greatest pitfalls in OCE, with all the heights that they reached and the pitfalls that they experienced. Now they are back at the top once again, and nobody can dispute their victory. Back over to the guys on the desk. I'm sure that you'll have plenty to say after that action-packed game.
Action-packed for only one team, unfortunately. The OCS Grand Final of Stage 1, I thought, was never going to be topped in terms of dominance, but I think we may well have just seen it. That is a solid performance from the Knights, and unfortunately, Proto, we were alluding to the fact that we didn't have much in this for Hungry Lions, and the last map just goes to show the Knights are truly dominant here.
Yeah, the Knights are insane, and you know, you can't really say anything otherwise. The dominance they display game after game. I mean, Saging kicked it off with an ace. We had flawless rounds. We had defuses and plant denials. I mean, everything was there in that matchup, and Knights were always behind everything that went on. I mean, a 7-0 domination, and yeah, insane from them.
And I think pretty much all of us have said it, either on the desk or on the cast, Guz, but when are we going to see Knights internationally? When are we going to put them up against the best from around the world? Because they've proven to us, both domestically and regionally, that they are quite a force to be meddled with.
Yeah, that's the next big step, right? Obviously incredibly dominant here at OCE for 2022, and no one can dispute that, but it is about taking now that next big leap. And I think they are only going to continue to improve. I think it would be downplaying the Knights roster to say that they've reached their peak. I honestly still think that Quiz growing into the team more and more is only going to improve them all, and really keen to sort of see their progression through Stage 3, right? I think the goal always has been to reach a major, and I'm sure they're going to be as motivated as they always have been to get that done in Stage 3. So close already here in the second stage, and it's just about micro improvements, and they've already shown that, yeah, they're incredibly strong, and it's just that next leap.
And Proto, obviously we don't want to take away from the Hungry Lions. I know it's all about the Knights right now, but we do have to give props to a team that really, coming into this, no one had any expectations for.
No, and I mean, we look to the bracket. At the end of the day, the Hungry Lions got more rounds against the Knights than the Chiefs did. I mean, we look back to the Chiefs. We look back to the Chiefs matchup. I mean, that was just... It was embarrassing from the Chiefs. It really was, considering what they have fallen from grace almost. I mean, and even then, we looked to the bracket. The Chiefs had a forfeit win in the first round. They beat Kraken and then were knocked out by Knights. You look at the Hungry Lions run. They took down Bliss, they took down Wildcard, and then found themselves in the final against the Knights as well. I mean, arguably more of sort of a god run from them, and it was just such an amazing showing for them to find themselves in the finals. You do have to give them props for that, because at the end of the day, they've done better than the top, well, obviously not the top, but the next 3 teams underneath. They've beaten them all and they've got to the finals. So hats off to them. They have done phenomenally in the OCS.
That they have, but a team and, well, one individual that has done better than Hungry Lions, of course, it's Stig from the Knights. Let's welcome him in for, yet again, another interview. I feel like it's all too often we've seen your face, Stigs. It is great to see you once again. Big congratulations on what has been one of the more dominant grand finals that we have ever seen here in Oceania. I would love to go, you know, how are you feeling? But I think many of us expected coming into today, you guys were going to be the ones that walked away with the victory. So I'm probably going to more so ask, how is the team feeling just overall right now? Because this probably caps off what has been a bloody solid stage 2.
Yeah, we're feeling good, honestly. Like today and the past week or so, we've just been working like a well-oiled machine. We know what everyone's doing, and we are, I don't know, we're just so synchronized in everything we're doing recently. So going into our off season, we're just going to have a short break and then come back hopefully for stage 3 better and stronger.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously no OC necessarily for the next stage, Stigs, but Apex South having to take that next step for the major. What are you looking at to try and improve? Because obviously here today you've been incredibly dominant, but they didn't quite line up in the second stage of Apex South.
Yeah, I think after our loss against Gladiators, we needed to have a hard look at ourselves, because there wasn't any glaring issues with our team. You know, we work really well together. Everyone's doing decently well within their roles, so there weren't no glaring issues. So we had to pose the question: if there's no issues, then why aren't we making majors? So we did that. We had a team talk, and we arised a few things that may need to change, and we're going to implement going into stage 3. And yeah, we'll see how they go.
And then obviously with Lunar Metal coming in, you guys have looked absolutely dominant in the region. What have you guys been doing behind the scenes specifically, obviously with him in prac-wise? I mean, it has obviously shown. What's been going on behind the scenes for you?
Once again, Lunar Metal just brings so much experience, even not only as like a coach and IGL, but as a player. He came from obviously IG, and he pretty much did it all: IGL, captain, player, everything. So he has a wealth of experience, and honestly, if anyone ever needs anything within the team, we always go to him. We always talk to him. He's as part of the team as anyone has been. Like, even if they've been here for 1.5 years or whatever, he's as valuable as anyone else. So he does add a lot, and in that big team talk, he brought up a few things that he wants to try going into next stage, and I think everyone agreed with them. So we're just gonna, look to knuckle down for next stage.
Well, this has truly capped off one of the best stages I think we've seen in a long time from the Knights, and it's really exciting, you know, on a personal note, to see you guys rise back up to the top. But as we like to do, you know, we'll give you the floor here. Is there anything you'd like to say, friends, family, fans that are out there?
Obviously, thank you guys again, as always, the desk, for the cast and the analysts. We appreciate it. And as always, the fans and the Knights, we appreciate you so much. And yeah, I'm just really happy for my team.
Well, Stigs, we're really happy for you. We're glad to have you back in OCE, mate. We can see it's had its impact. So best of luck for next stage, and let's hope you get to a major.
Thanks, Manic.
Don't worry about you boys, just thanks, Matic, you know. He understands where
this show's all you, mate. This show's all you.
No. He understands where the importance of this show is at. Because as he understands where the importance of the show is at, we understand the importance of this for Stage 2. Knights have really set a new level, a new standard for themselves heading into Stage 3. And I think from that interview, they've given us a fair bit of insight, you know, maybe not specifics, but there is a new beast coming, I think, when we inevitably come back from off-season.
Yeah, Stage 3 is going to be super exciting for the Knights. Obviously, Stage 2, Lunar Metal has not been as fully integrated into the roster as a lot of the other support staff are for other rosters, and that's just due to time. He hasn't really been with this team for very long, so I think it was awesome to hear that he is really integrating well with the roster. It seems like they're all on the same page. So Stage 3, I don't want to curse them. I don't want to put too much pressure on them, right? But it feels like the stars are starting to align for them. They have everything they need to make a major. APAC South is a whole nother beast. It's not going to be easy, but I think they're a great chance. And they've shown here locally in OS. They've shown throughout the stage. They've shown this weekend. When they are switched on and playing well together, they are incredibly tricky to take down.
That they are. Proto, the curtains have risen and shut all too quickly today. It's been a very fast match, and I think, you know, overall this kind of sums up, I think, some of the dominant form that we've seen from individual teams. But it is time for us to start to wind things up. So is there anything you'd like to say?
Overall, congrats to the Knights and everyone else that played. I mean, it was an absolutely amazing series. OCL, come on guys, we're going to show up a little bit more next time. I want to see some more representation, but regardless of that, it's been an absolute banger, and yeah, once more, congrats to the Knights, they deserve it.
Guys, you know it's coming to you, mate. It's swings and roundabouts here, mate. Swings and roundabouts.
I got to make this one count. It's the last sign-off for OCS for 2022, no Stage 3 for the year, so all attention is now going to be on the teams competing in APAC South, and I guess further down the road relegations, whatever ends up happening there. So yeah, it's been a good year. I think we've seen a lot of teams really step up from OCL that stepped into the shoes of OCN this stage. Big shout out, I think, to Kraken, who really showed their worth. Perhaps OCL underperforming a little bit here in OCS, but again, over the break, we're going to see a bunch of shuffles. So hopefully some new players, some new teams on the rise. And I think 2023 is probably going to elevate us to the next level.
Well, we've said it every year, haven't we? And it has gone to show that every year OCS continues to get better. The players continue to give more. However, for everyone at home, we want to thank you so much for joining us. It means the world to all of us that you show the support that you do for OCS. For all of the teams and players, congratulations. For all of the production crew, it has been a fantastic year so far. Unfortunately for OCS, that is us pretty much signing off completely. Stage 3 on the rise for APAC South. It's been a big one. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here for the OCS, and we hope to see you again soon.
My heart is on a plane to Tokyo. 1,000 miles away from where I am. I go all the way by bicycle just to see your face in Tokyo. For hours and hours I drive, counting the streets passing by, dreaming of trees and pale white, the light of the night in southern Hawaii. I feel like I'm lost in the flow, stuck in the routines I know. My last trip was ages ago, ages ago. My heart is on a plane to Tokyo, 1,000 miles away from where I am. I go all the way by bicycle just to see your face in Tokyo. I'm not unhappy, my dear, but nothing is holding me here. They say that I should save my career, but all I wanna do is leave for a year. I feel like I'm lost in the flow, stuck in my routines I know. Our last trip was ages ago, ages ago. My heart is on a plane to Tokyo, 1,000 miles away from where I am. I go all the way by bicycle just